the news. It's good to be with you as we are streaming on YouTube at the WCCO radio account. You can catch us streaming on my X account, DeRush J, and we're on the WCCO radio Facebook page as well. Wherever you, I think we're also on the radio. We are still on the radio as well. Hope you had a great holiday weekend. It's good to be with you today. We start with just the heartbreak of the flooding in Texas. The death toll is now at 95. You heard the latest from CBS News, 95 dead due to this flash flooding. And I have been reflecting on weather warnings, on information and news fatigue and tune out. And there was new information over the weekend from a Minnesota poll conducted by the Star Tribune that showed about half of Minnesotans just are avoiding news. And I hear about this more and more from friends and people in my age range, especially, or a little younger. So the 40 to 55 age range. Because when you're in your 30s, you're busy with your kids. It's sort of the peak period of life where you're not necessarily, unless you're a junkie of news, you're not plugging in as much. I am hearing more and more from people who do like to follow the news, who do know what's going on, that they can't deal with it anymore, that they just don't want to. And so they don't read the paper. They don't follow online articles. They just sort of are out on it. And I was thinking about that in terms of weather warnings, because we love in the aftermath of a storm to say, man, they really botched that one. They messed up that forecast. I wonder if our desire to unplug, some for rational reasons, right? Some just have had enough of the how argumentative and negative the world can feel. So some are opting out because they think the media is biased or garbage or whatever. People have all sorts of reasons for unplugging. I'm wondering if this avoidance of the news actually has kind of public safety implications. Are you unplugging from the news or trying to? 651-461-9226. And I ask this because I really want to get to the heart of this issue about the warnings. Because in Texas, the warnings did come, but it was the middle of the night. And in many of these areas, you had people who were camping. And you've probably heard about this youth camp. So, did people get the warnings? Did they know? Sometimes there just are horrific events that happen in the world, right? So maybe there's not that much. I know we hate to say this, but sometimes there are just things that happen, and you can try to learn. Maybe we could have done something differently. Maybe we could have been more urgent. I don't know. But you can have all the warnings in the world. And if you're not paying attention to local news or local information, you're out. And, maybe I'm asking the wrong audience, right? Like, you're listening to WCCO radio. You're listening to Drive Time with DeRush. You already are opting in to information, conversation, current events. But I'll tell you, I think about the fact that many of my friends, sort of pay attention, but not really. And I worry about it for safety, because what you have the ultimate obligation to keep yourself informed. It is not the media's fault if you don't consume it. And in Texas, they're still looking for the missing of those flash floods. But to me, it's not too early to talk about how are we getting this information? And if we've decided to opt out from local news and you're saying like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. It's all bad. It's all negative, which we can break down whether that's true or not. I think in this market, in Minnesota especially, if you watch the local news, you can make the complaint that it's not negative enough, that it's too much like Pollyanna this and look at this cool person doing this cool thing. But people don't want the bad news. They don't want the negativity. There's a cost. There's a cost to it. If you opt out, then where are you going to get these weather updates? Where are you going to get the context to know, all right, this might be one that we should listen to? We've talked before on this show, my concern that we're in such a sort of desperation media environment where people are trying to come up with all these different ways to alert you, to get you to pay attention. Such the point that there are now so many alerts that I don't even know which alerts I should pay attention to. I worry about that. And to be honest, I hadn't really considered the sort of people who are willingly opting out from news and information. What is the impact on that? We're a community here that I feel like the number one topic of conversation when you go out and about with people is the weather. We're a little weather obsessed here in the Midwest. I assume much of the same is true in Texas. But we get the information that we say we want to watch. And if we're going to stop watching this stuff, I worry that there will be more of these types of incidents. We know that extreme weather events are on the rise. The experts tell us that the change in our climate has led to more extremes. And so those extremes are going to play out. We're going to face, I don't know if we have the geography here necessarily to face the same sort of flash flooding risk that this particular part of Texas faced. But if you don't watch or you don't subscribe, then there's going to be no money to pay people to be there, to give you that information. 651-461-9226. Are you opting out? Are you saying, I'm good, I'm out? Texters say, we always record, this is Dave in Plymouth, we always record the 10 o'clock news, but very, very seldom do we watch much of it. We fast forward through the local shootings, killings, and we fast forward to the weather, except for the very end of the weather to see what it's going to be for the week, and then we listen to the sports. Let's go to Lonnie in St. Paul. Lonnie, you're on CCO. Are you?
Jason,
go ahead.
Another great topic today.
Thank you.
I'm just to be honest with you. I turned 50 next month. As far as news, I went to the University of Kansas for journalism, and I'm a big news guy, but it's almost too much out there. What do you need, what you don't? And
yeah.
Honestly, probably my biggest news right now is Facebook and Instagram. Not so much Instagram, but Facebook is where I got all the flood stuff coming in 5, 6 a.m. on Sunday morning or
right.
whatever, Saturday morning. And it was like, Facebook, a lot of news we get from there, but it's, we've had so much in the middle of the night lately, the senators a couple weeks ago. So it's almost like you wake up every Friday, Saturday, and it's like, nightclub shot up or this shot up. So middle of the night's tough.
Yeah, you're right, Lonnie. I first found out about that, about the state senator and the state speaker being shot on Facebook also. I think we kind of have this routine. I don't have a TV in my bedroom, but I wake up and I'll scroll Facebook or go to this. I'll check the CCO Twitter. I'll check the Star Tribune app. That's sort of my routine in the morning. But I host a news talk show, and I'm not going to lie, Lonnie, I watch way less local news than I used to when I was working in it. I watch some morning news, but I'm not watching as much of that. But it does make me a little worried, these overnight events. And if we don't consume this stuff, I worry that like the business model falls apart. And are we going to have anybody to cover this stuff and to warn us? Or I don't know.
Well, no, and it's a great point because, I mean, I love journalism. I like getting my opinions from everywhere. I love CCO. I love the other side, this side, that side. I like to get it all. I want the truth. I want the truth out there. But we need journalists like you guys. There's so much good journalists out there, and it's like people just want the truth. But you're right. People are kind of running all over.
Yeah.
I love the local news. I miss it. I miss watching local news. I just can't get home in time. So.
Thanks, Lonnie. Appreciate the call. Thanks for listening, too. There goes Lonnie. Jeff, you're on CCO. Jeff in Sauk Rapids. I know you're a big information junkie, Jeff, but
I am.
So many people, I hear it from many people. I'm sure you do, too. The people who are saying, like, I just can't deal with it anymore. I'm just not going to watch or read it.
Well, that's true. And I have undergone some minor changes. TV news, local news, that's on at 5 a.m. and stays on until I leave the house. Obviously, I listen to CCO a lot, but I bought the Star Tribune religiously every day for about 30 years. Go to the convenience store, get a pack of cigarettes and a newspaper. And a couple of months ago or so, I quit buying it on a regular basis. Once in a while, I'd pick up a copy. Only because I just could no longer stand to see the word Trump in print anymore. Between Trump and tariffs, the two T words, I was done. And last night I was listening to Blois Olson's take.
Right.
And he got to the segment where he had an interview with Tom Emmer. As soon as he announced a forthcoming interview with Tom Emmer, I turned it off. Can't do it anymore. There are some of these things I just can't do.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's kind of eroding my what I considered to be my worldly vision.
Yeah.
But for those people that say I've had enough, I can't take anymore, I understand what they're saying.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it. I get it too. I just worry about it. 651-461-9226. Drive Time continues with your feedback here on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRush on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Tureen Dermatology is my family's place to go for great skincare. It's Jason here for my friends at Tureen Dermatology. They have 9 locations, so they're close to you. And they have Dr. Mohiba Tureen. That's their that is the secret sauce, the magic of Tureen Dermatology. 651-633-6883 is the number at Tureen Dermatology. That one number will get you to all of their providers in all of their locations. I first met Dr. Mohiba Tureen at her location in Roseville. I have a family history of skin cancer, and I decided it was time that I get that full body skin checkup. Every year I go now. My wife goes twice a year because her family history of skin cancer. Well, let's just say Dr. Tureen is very familiar with it because she takes care of Alyssa's dad as well. Roseville, Faribault, Maplewood, Monticello. They're in Hudson, Eagan, Farmington, Lakeville, and Lindstrom. All over the Twin Cities means you can get in within 3 weeks. Many dermatologists, I know in Lakeville, the average wait time to get an appointment was like 4 months. Now you can get in with 3 weeks. Tureen is Tareen Dermatology. You can go to their website and book your appointment right now at TureenDermatology.com.
Heading out for the weekend? Lucky you!
Don't forget to stop at Thieler Meats of Piers for some melt-in-your-mouth moments.
High-quality beef.
Fresh and smoked sausages and brats.
Home-smoked bacon.
All-natural chicken.
A great selection of fish and seafood.
Visit us at ThielerMeats.com.
We've got the cuts that'll make your meal.
Call to order ahead and pick up on your way to the lake.
You'll be the hit of the party.
No meals complete without Thieler Meats
of Piers.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or play. Stop, opt out. Terms and conditions apply to the earnings promotion.
Do you have caregiving experience as a parent, teacher, nanny, coach, or in another similar role? Hop Skip Drive is looking for experienced caregivers who want to help students in their community by driving them to and from school. Earn up to $50 per ride with Hop Skip Drive's welcome promotion, all while helping your community. If you have your own vehicle that is no more than 10 years old, a clean driving record, and at least 5 years of caregiving experience, you could become a Hop Skip Drive care driver. Just text KID to 323232 to get started right now. Hop Skip Drive gives you the flexibility to set your own schedule and earn competitive pay. It's simple. Drive in your free time and make a real difference for students right in your neighborhood. Don't wait. Text KID to 323232 right now. Text KID to 323232 and start earning up to $50 per ride during Hop Skip Drive's welcome promotion period. That's KID to 323232. Text KID to 323232 now.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
Jason DeRush.
He's representing the state, everything. He should be a model citizen.
On News Talk 830, WCCO.
All right, drive time in effect on this Monday. We're talking a little bit about the way we consume information and whether or not we're opting out more and more. Texters at 651-461-9226. You can have weather or incident alerts on your phone without getting the regular depressing news. I think that is true.
It is
as long
true.
as you have coverage, right?
I mean, you have to have obviously cell phone coverage for that to work, or internet connectivity of some sort.
But you don't have the context, which is sort of the negative. But
you don't have context, and you also have to pay attention to it, right? I mean, when we had the storms go through in the overnight hours was a couple weeks ago. I don't know how many people I talked to the next day that said, "Oh man, that alarm, scared me. I was in the middle of sleep." Which, okay, that's what it's designed to do, is to wake you up. But they just, looked at it 2 seconds, swiped, and went right back to bed.
Right.
So, the alert can only do so much if you're not willing to engage with it. Whether there's news alerts or weather alerts or whatever it is.
And do you listen to a flash flood alert? Because we've had flash flood alerts around here before. And I'm going to confess that I pay attention at like the lowest degree.
Yeah. And I think that's pretty common around here because
it's just not,
unless you live next to a river or a creek or some sort of body that regularly, overflows. I don't think most folks think about it in terms of a way that it would affect them, when in fact, most of the time that we're talking about flash floods in the Twin Cities, it's roads and stuff that we're worried about being flooded out. Now, this area down in Texas was known for flooding, right? So I would imagine the level to which they would pay attention to flash flood warnings would be much higher than what we do here.
And it does go to some of the challenges with warnings, and we'll get into this a little bit in our 4:30 half hour. And one of our texters brings this up. Eric in Victoria, I think, is exactly right, that we have so many radar indicated tornado warnings now. And Eric says radar indicated tornado warnings seem sketchy. Observed tornado warnings are a big deal. And I feel that like they've gotten much better at sort of having like the rectangle of activity, so they don't warn all of Hennepin County now, which thank goodness, because, Independence is pretty far from Brooklyn Park.
Sure.
And so the fact that we can be a little more targeted in our warnings is phenomenal. And the first time that something happens outside of that zone, people are going to lose their mind. But like it is some of the trade-off that you have to make between warning at an appropriate amount so people don't tune it out.
Right.
I feel
and
like we
that's-
have so many warnings now.
That's just it. And yet, what they're trying to do, obviously, is give people as much lead time as humanly possible ahead of whatever this is that's going to hit them. And so if they can, narrow it down on radar and say, here's where there's a very possible tornado, that doesn't mean there's going to be one there, but they'd rather give people that information so that they can prepare rather than wait until somebody's looking out their front door and go, oh, there it is. And they can't prepare it. They don't have any time to prepare at all. Right. What that leads to then is obviously a severe increase in the number of warnings. And then, I think I don't want to say it's natural, but I think a lot of people do tend to tune that out. And then there's no point in giving you lead time if you're not going to pay attention.
60% of Minnesotans in the Star Tribune poll say they find themselves actively trying to avoid news these days. 11% often, 26% sometimes, and 23% occasionally. I get it. I get it. And a number of people responding to the political coverage, kind of what Jeff said about hearing, when he hears the T word, that he's out. What I would say about that when it comes to local news is when you watch the local news, like that is not what they're covering. So I also worry, and this is my other sort of analysis of this, that Facebook and social media has made the United States much smaller in many positive ways. But one of the negative ways is that we have substituted national issues for local information. And you see it in our political campaigns that all of the elections are about national issues. And sometimes national issues are local issues. But sometimes national issues are just, maybe are more relevant to one region than another. And we, because of social media, because of apps, because CNN can afford to be pushing out push alerts, we feel and experience national news stories at a much higher rate than we do local news stories because it takes a little bit more work. You have to locally turn on the TV or go to twincities.com or startribune.com. And we, I think to our detriment, have allowed ourselves to become more of a nation and less of a state. And when you focus on national stuff, I do think you're going to miss some of these weather alerts. You just are. Or you're going to miss the context. All alerts on your phone come out sort of the same. So how do you communicate severity? How do you communicate seriousness? How do you communicate right now? I worry about these things. And obviously it's my business. I want people to care about what's going on in their community, but also we think about it in the way we construct this show. And some texters have pointed out, like overnight, like what about the overnight CCO radio? Like if you get a tornado in the middle of the night, are we going to be there for you? And I'll just say, radio has changed a lot where you don't have a person in the building 24 hours a day. We're local much later into the night than anybody else is in this state. But we've been having conversations about, all right, how do we get on the air in the middle of the night? If there's nobody in this building, how do we make sure? And we have one of our managers lives right downtown, so he could run. So we're having those conversations because it matters. It matters. Texter saying, and it is the no weather radio factor again, right? And we'll talk about weather radios too, because when you think about warnings, I don't have a weather radio. Watching the fact that we had overnight tornadoes this month here in the Twin Cities, and now this deadly flash flooding in Texas again in the middle of the night, I am very nervous about my own ability to wake up and know what's going on in the middle of the night. So maybe that weather radio is a really good idea. 3:32. When we come back this weekend, once again, the state flag issue came up. I guess I thought we were done with that. The movement to have a do-over. Should we have a do-over when it comes to the new Minnesota flag? We'll talk about that when we come back here on Drive Time.
Drive Time with DeRush is on News Talk 830 WCCO. The Garage, a pontoon, that folding chair on your kid's soccer sideline. We turn any spot in Minnesota into your own personal stadium.
And Correa swings and drives one to deep left field. Arozarena looks up and it's into the bullpen.
Because sometimes the best view of the game doesn't involve a screen.
3-2 pitch. Swung on a miss, he struck him out. Jacks blew it right by him at 96.
Twins baseball, heard here, felt everywhere.
Here comes Byron Buxton. He will round, he will score!
News Talk 830 WCCO.
Get your home into the comfort zone with Metro Heating and Cooling.
Get in touch with Metro Heating and Cooling for a $99 air conditioner tune-up. Find out more at metroheating.com.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius. Or two half geniuses and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is Traffic and Weather Together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Possible crash on 494 eastbound as make way toward 100. Traffic is already slow as coming in from West Bush Lake Road. 94 westbound jammed up, Hemlock Lane to Weaver Lake Road. 10 westbound slowing as we move past Hanson Boulevard. And South 35 east, some slowing right through downtown St. Paul as you head out toward the area of Victoria Street. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
If you have trees to trim or need tree removal, call an ISA certified arborist. Call the CCO Land Company I use. B&M Tree Service, 1-800-569-9034. Or get on the web, bnmtree.com.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
B&M Tree Service bringing you the weather. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
Showers and a few isolated non-severe thunderstorms rolling through. Things quiet down overnight. We'll fall back to 68, warm up to 84 tomorrow with a partly cloudy sky. Almost a carbon copy on Wednesday. Partly cloudy, 84. It does get more humid and hotter on Thursday. Rain showers come through on Friday, and looking ahead to the weekend, a little cooler. Highs in the upper 70s and less humid.
Right now it is sunny. It is 84 on CCO.
Let's roll with more of Jason DeRush on News Talk 830 WCCO.
I'm picking up steam.
Man, do people hate the new state flag here in Minnesota. At least some people do. This weekend, the Star Tribune did a story out in greater Minnesota where some communities have decided they did not want to fly the new flag. And, you know, do what you want, I guess. Detroit Lake, Cross Lake, Pequot Lakes, Babbitt, some of the rural communities that say, we don't like the new flag, we're not going to fly it. Should we do it over? Should we do it over? That was the question my friend Andy Bram posed on social media, saying, while expensive and a hassle, Minnesota needs a do-over of the divisive and unappealing state flag selected by the DFL trifecta. I will say this. I have severely underestimated how angry and enduringly angry people are about the new Minnesota flag. Do you think we should have a do-over? 651-461-9226. Is Andy right? That we should start from scratch and design a new process? My concern is this. I don't think in today's environment that it is possible in any way to design a flag that wouldn't piss people off, because we can't have a conversation about anything without making it into some political referendum about our way of life. That said, the flag has proven to be way more personal to many of you than I would have expected. The initial pushback, I will confess, I responded with severe skepticism about how much people genuinely cared about this issue. To me, this felt like a symbolic expression of overall dissatisfaction with the Democratic trifecta. That it was an easy outlet to say, I'm being ignored. No one asked me. This isn't my vision of what our state is. And so I looked at your response to be more of an expression of that frustration. The fact that here we are 7-8 months later, and people seem as fired up about this as they were in November and December. I guess I just can't tell. Is this, and maybe we need a new poll, because in the immediate aftermath, of course, people weren't going to be in favor of it, because it is human nature to be a little hesitant about change. So people looked at the flag. They're like, I don't like that. And so do more people like the flag than don't? I don't think so. I think more people don't like the flag than do. And my view on this was, give it time. We'll see if people like it or not. And if people still want a new flag in 10 years or 20 years, pick a new flag. There are so many different reactions to this flag. Some of it is aesthetic, some of it is process, and some of it is people just having a don't tread on me moment where, because it was a Democratic legislature and a Democratic governor, then by God, I got to be opposed to it. And so I'm freaking out about something that I cared 0% about prior to this issue coming up. And people are still, so I guess I don't know. Jonathan in Minneapolis is on the CCO Talk and Text line, 651-461-9226. Jonathan, should there be a do-over? Should they try again?
I don't know the correct answer to this because I'll get you in trouble if I say what I really want to say. But there's not one thing about Minnesota on it. There's not one thing that says we're proud to be from Minnesota. It's blue, white, and dark blue. It's very weird, but it does take time to get used to it. Now that it's been out there for 8 months, give it another 8 months, they'll have something else to complain about. There's too many flags of this, there's too many flags of that. Honest to goodness, I truly believe the state has changed, so has the amount of people that have come here from different countries. And so there's that it reminds people of a different flag. And so I don't know the answer. Should there be a redo? I say yes, because there's not one thing about Minnesota on the state flag besides the
Well, there's
snowflake.
the North Star that's supposed to that's the North Star logo. There's the blue that's supposed to be the waters of Minnesota.
But what do you honestly think, Jason? Because you're the host of this show and you're sometimes not allowed to give your opinions, but what do you really think it should be done at this point in time?
I will say, I would say, and Jonathan, thank you. I would say, I don't think it is possible to get to a design that everyone would be happy with. And I don't think it would be possible to do this in a way that isn't political. So for those reasons, I'm opposed to doing it over. If we hate it in 10 years, have the legislature pass to create a new commission. There are some things I would have done differently, but let's let Jim on a mobile phone. Jim, let's let Jim say his piece. What do you think, Jim? Should we do this over?
No, we shouldn't have done nothing at all. We should have left it just the way it was. The state has absolutely no money left, and now we spent millions of dollars on trying to make something we didn't have to do.
How do you think they spent millions on this?
Well, think about every state trooper car has to get repainted now, get some new logo. Every letterhead, I don't care if it's federal or state level.
With the seal, the new seal.
The new seal.
Well, a lot of it, they used out the old stuff and then moved to the new, but there is expense there for sure.
And the design, what it would take to design a new one.
That was all volunteers who did the design. I think didn't they spend like $50,000 max on that? It was pretty cheap.
Okay, well.
But I hear you. I'm not worried. I just think we can set aside the let's not spend too much money on this. I think it is deeper than that. It's more about people feel like this doesn't express their Minnesota. And I dismiss it looks like the Somali flag. Give me a break. But I do want to hear and feel the fact that if people don't feel that this represents us or represent our state, well, maybe it is worth doing over and giving it another shot. I don't know.
Right. I mean, what's next? We're going to redo the official flag with the 50 stars and the stripes and all that too. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Oh, that's a good flag, the American flag. Thanks, Jim. I think our old flag was ugly. I think most people... It was ugly. It was difficult to identify. I wouldn't say in the scheme of my life that I thought it was that big of a deal, right? I didn't really care one way or the other.
Well, and that's why, my argument about not doing a do-over on this is much along the same lines as yours. It would be a complete waste of time and money because you're never going to arrive at a final product that's going to make enough people happy, right? There's always going to be a large group of the state that's going to feel somehow left out because this really isn't about the flag. Nobody really cares, citizen-wise, about the design on the flag. They really don't. This is about something got changed for political reasons, for, I hate, politically correct. I hate that term, but that's what we're doing here, right? I mean, we didn't like the view of the Native Americans on the seal of the state. So we were going to change that. We were going to change the flag. And that's all politically based. And so people felt left out and people feel like this doesn't represent them because we have this sharp political divide. Well, guess what? We still have it now. And if anything, it's worse now than when this decision was first made.
Yeah.
So to pretend that we can somehow do this over and pick a design that's going to make everybody happy is just fantasy land. And so any process you go through, any money that you spend, any time that you spend, anything is complete waste if you try to do this at this point. Your options are these. We stick with what we got or we go back to the old one. That's it. Anything else is complete waste, in my opinion.
Eric says the state seal is amazing. The flag is boring. That's my problem. I do think the flag. So I think if we want to get into an aesthetic argument, what people are mad about is that people don't like what do they call it? The vexillology, whatever, the flag nerds, So the flag nerds have these principles of flag design, and the principles are that, you shouldn't, you should be able to see it the same way forward and backward. It's this sort of stuff. And so those were the defining principles here. Let's break. Should we vote? We got another couple of callers. Phil, hang on, if you would. 651-461-9226. Should we do over the state flag on CCO?
It's the afternoon ride with Jason DeRush on News Talk 830 WCCO.
I don't know why the state flag didn't have just a guy with his arms wide out, right? Shouldn't Lindahl be the state flag? It's Jason here for my friend Chris Lindahl. The guaranteed cash offer right now, it's go time. Go time on the guaranteed cash offer. Because we don't know what interest rates are going to be. We don't know if you have a home to put on the market. Is it going to be up to snuff? Is it going to be what people expect right now? Go to chrislindahl.com. chrislindahl.com. And get a guaranteed cash offer. You don't have to take it. Now, Chris told me that more and more people are saying yes. Why? Well, because that uncertainty, they don't want to deal with it. And so, yes, take that cash offer and move on with your life. You pick your moving date, you pick your closing date. It's pretty great. But if you don't like it, then you could talk to some of the great people at Chris Lindahl Real Estate, and they can list your home the conventional way, and you can do some upgrades, and they'll price it right, and that'll rock too. But the guaranteed cash offer is such a great way to start. Why don't you find out what your home is really worth? Go to chrislindahl.com today.
Storm season is here. That means nature's fury will cause damage to your roof. When it does, that's when you call Brian Jobe of Jobe Brothers Construction. Because they're local, they offer same-day Twin City-wide emergency service. Jobe Brothers Construction will repair or replace your roof from nature's wrath. They'll also work with your insurance company to ensure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. Brian and his team truly take the hassle out of a terrible situation. Working with Brian and his crew will give you peace of mind because it was done right. Just contact Jobe Brothers Construction for a no-obligation, free, and full inspection. Contact them online at jobebrothersconstruction.com. That's J-O-B-E, Jobe Brothers Construction, handling all your roofing, siding, window, and gutter needs. They'll even repair your roof from fallen trees. Jobe Brothers Construction. They get the job done right.
Grown-ups, aren't Sundays more fun without, can I have screen time? Can I have a snack? I don't want to go to Grandma's. It smells funny. And I'm bored. Bored is impossible on Kids Day at Target Field. The gate 34 lawn is turned into Bullseye's backyard. Kids' meals are half off. Kids 12 and under can run the bases after the game. And Grandma's invited too. Enjoy your weekend wind-up with Sunday Kids Days, presented by Target. Join in at twins.com/tickets.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is Traffic and Weather Together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Some slowdowns traveling north 169, County Road 81, heading up to 109th Avenue, 610 eastbound, jamming up Broadway to Highway 252, and watching slowdown south 35E past Cedar. Over on the east side, 694 westbound, some slowing Rice Street over to Lexington. Terry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCL.
Hungry? Go to Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan for real Texas barbecue. All meats smoked fresh in-house daily. You can dine in, take out, have it delivered, or have your event catered anywhere in the metro. Just go to Dickeys.com. Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan, the Twin Cities catering leader.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan bringing us the weather forecast. Isolated thunder early tonight. Some showers possible too. Low of 68. Tomorrow, 84. Wednesday, 84. Nice looking week. Next chance for rain on Friday. Right now, it's 84. CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRush.
20 plus years of being a news anchor and reading teleprompters your whole career. And then somebody gives you an opportunity to just say what you really think. And you just get unhinged and you just go for it.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Should we have a redo on the state flag? I do think the way Dan said that in his view, people really aren't mad about the new flag. They're mad about other stuff. I think people are really mad about the flag. I originally was with Dan, and I think the lingering nature of this, people don't like modern flag design. The principles of modern flag design today are generic, slightly, when you look at the greatest international flags, most of them are pretty simple, right? You immediately see the Canadian flag, you recognize it. You immediately see America. You immediately see Germany or France or Ireland, very simple flags. And so the design is supposed to be simple, and people are mad about it that it's too simple. But I think people reject that idea. They want it to be more literal, like an outline of the state shape or a picture of a loon. Like, I think most people want it to be more literal.
I don't think you have to squint that hard to see the state shape in the flag that we have right now.
Yeah, it is in there.
And I don't think, maybe we just disagree, but I don't think that the aesthetics of the flag really account for the vitriol with which people respond.
No, I agree with you there.
That's all about process. Yeah. That's all about politics. And that all's just been lumped onto this thing.
It wasn't a very bipartisan statewide effort. It was Democrats appointed.
But even if you had made every attempt possible to make a bipartisan effort on this thing,
that's my overall.
You're still not getting
Phil is on the phone. Phil, thanks for staying through the break. Should we do it over? Should we try again? Is it a foolish effort to even try since there's no way people are going to agree?
Well, first of all, I love your show.
Thank you.
Secondly, for fun, why not design the flag with a road going from corner to corner, opposite corners, that is, with a bunch of potholes on the road, a bunch of traffic cones, a couple of guys standing with their leaning on a shovel, and in the other two corners put two big mosquitoes.
Yeah, I'm in. You would immediately be like, Minnesota. That is that represents us.
It does, doesn't it? But realistically, I don't think it should have been changed the way they did it. I think they should have put it on the ballot. Do we need a new design? Here's your choice. Yes or no. Let the voters say, then do it. Don't just do it.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. And I think the old flag is much more colorful. And when I talked to a whole lot of the Indians from the Mdewakanton Sioux community out in Prior Lake, they all said that they had no idea that anybody was upset with the Indians being on the flag.
Phil, thank you.
When Shock changed the name of their school, they said, we were being honored. No, they took it away. Why?
Yeah, thanks, Phil. I think it's always hard, right? Like, if some people were offended. For me, my view on the old flag, which you can see if you're watching us on YouTube, is that it's hard to read. And if it didn't say Minnesota, it just looks like every other sort of generic state seal. So let's vote. We should vote on everything. I do think because
that usually makes everybody happy.
They could have done this in a way that got better buy-in. I think we all could agree on that. It was not done in a bipartisan, one Minnesota way.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1 day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Kandula. Outside of Advent's four walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-408-4040. That's 800-408-4040. 800-408-4040.
The voice of the Twin Cities, Minnesota, and the Upper Midwest. News Talk 830 WCCO. 1029 KMNB HD2. Minneapolis, St. Paul.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. The death toll in Texas from the floods is now at 95. 27 of the victims were from a girls' camp. Senator Ted Cruz.
The children, little girls who were lost at Camp Mystic. That's every parent's nightmare.
Correspondent Jason Allen.
In some places, there is nothing left. You can't even tell what was there before this flood came through. And this is a part of the country that people here know as a flash flood alley. There's a combination of extreme rain events, very thin soil. So officials here over the last 3 days say they have rescued more than 850 people, some of them from the tops of trees and others from rooftops.
There have been questions about whether there was sufficient warning and whether National Weather Service cuts added to the tragedy. Stacey Lynn has White House reaction.
While some say the Trump administration's cuts to the National Weather Service may have played a part.
Despite unprecedented rainfall, the National Weather Service executed timely and precise forecasts and warnings.
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt pushed back on the allegations.
Blaming President Trump for these floods is a depraved lie.
She said the Weather Service did its job.
So to any person who has deliberately lied about these facts surrounding this catastrophic event, you should be deeply ashamed.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News, the White House.
A tropical storm swept through the Carolinas this weekend, dumping heavy rains and causing flooding.
It was really scary. And then the lights went out. It was dark, and all you could see was the water just moving. That was really scary, for real.
At least one death is blamed on the storm. 2 other people are missing. President Trump sent letters to U.S. trading partners today advising them that a deadline is approaching to reach an agreement and avoid higher tariffs. In the case of Japan and South Korea, 25% tariffs. CBS's Natalie Brand.
Notably, those higher rates would not take effect until August 1st. So it seems as though there's a few more weeks of negotiations here, but the administration trying to keep pressure on the top trading partners that it hopes to achieve deals with.
At the White House this evening, President Trump will meet with Israel's Prime Minister, and Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the latest Gaza ceasefire proposal will be discussed.
An agreeable and appropriate ceasefire proposal has been sent to Hamas. And I can also tell you Special Envoy Witkoff intends to travel to Doha later this week, where he will continue to engage in these discussions.
Trump has been pushing for a ceasefire, which could lead to an end to the war. On Wall Street today, investors were nervous about the new threatened tariffs against Asian nations. The Dow Jones Industrials finished the day 422 points lower. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. We offer auto, home, and commercial auto insurance, plus a variety of business insurance options. Visit Progressive.com today.
Minnesota's trusted voice. Every hour on the hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Partly cloudy, 85 degrees at 4:03. I'm Laura Oakes. A Shakopee man is now charged with second-degree murder in the killing of a Richfield woman. 27-year-old Jose Gique was arrested in the death of 22-year-old Kaylee Arseth, who was found shot to death inside her Richfield apartment on June 17th. Prosecutors allege Gique had been messaging Arseth after meeting online, asking her for a romantic relationship, and that Arseth told him she was only interested in friendship. A deadly fireworks accident in northwestern Minnesota.
The Monoman County Sheriff's Department says a 13-year-old boy was killed when a firework he was holding went off, shooting through the bottom of the tube it was in and hitting him in the chest. Authorities say the teen was not breathing when officers arrived. Bystanders were giving chest compressions and officers performed CPR, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. Susie Jones, News Talk 830 WCCO.
The city of St. Paul and Metro Transit at odds over a pretty big planned closure of the Metro Transit Green Line. 13 light rail stations between Raymond Avenue and the Union Depot will be down for 9 days beginning Friday for scheduled maintenance, which could impact people attending the big Minnesota Yacht Club Festival on Harriet Island. But Metro Transit's Drew Kerr says there were no surprises here.
There's been always a lot of communication back and forth between us and our partners, and that's true here and true generally.
He says buses will replace trains along the affected route, and getting to the show will still be possible on public transit. In a statement, St. Paul Deputy Mayor Jamie Tincher says these travel alternatives would have been unnecessary if maintenance was scheduled before or after the concert dates. The Twins are waiting to see if they'll get any more players on the American League All-Star roster.
Byron Buxton's superb first half of the season made him a surefire selection for the July 15th game in Atlanta. He leads the team in just about every offensive category. Twins manager Rocco Baldelli says Joe Ryan's 8 wins and 2.76 earned run average is as good as anyone's.
He totally loved to be out there and pitching in an All-Star game. And just being acknowledged as one of the best pitchers in the game because he is.
Then there's closer Juwan Duran with 5 wins and 13 saves out of the bullpen.
Sometimes as relievers, you don't necessarily always get the acknowledgement, but he's a guy that I think he's earned it too.
Typically, a number of players selected for the All-Star game will back out because of injuries or other issues. That's been a window of opportunity for Twins players in the past. Al Schock, News Talk 830 WCCO.
And the big news today, we'll get to watch Byron Buxton in the Home Run Derby as part of next week's All-Star Game festivities in Atlanta. The 31-year-old Georgia native calls it a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The Derby is Monday night. Buxton will also play center field for the American League team on Tuesday. And the Minnesota Timberwolves officially signing center Johan Beranger today after selecting him in the NBA draft. Terms were not disclosed. Beranger will wear number 19 for the Wolves. WCCO News Time is 4:06.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is Traffic and Weather Together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Problems over on the west side of the metro as you travel north 169 near Rockford Road. Got a crash working, left lane shut down. Traffic is slow as you make way toward Medicine Lake Road. West 94 got your slowdowns, 280 into downtown Minneapolis. 494 eastbound, watching the delays as you come in from the Bush Lake Roads over to 35W. And then on the east side of the metro, 52 northbound. I got minor slowdowns across that Lafayette Bridge deck. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Choose Herbert and Gerbert's when you want fresh ingredients for a perfect sandwich like the Italian Flash or the Turkey Avocado Norma. Funky names are full of flavor. And don't forget our hearty soups and chili. Stop by or order ahead online. HerbertandGerberts.com.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Brought to you by Herbert and Gerbert's. Fresh ingredients on sandwiches always. And don't forget the soup. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
The showers and isolated thunderstorms roll through early tonight, should quiet down overnight. Partly cloudy tomorrow with a high of 84. Not bad. I think we matched that on Wednesday. It does get warmer and humid on Thursday. Our next best chance of rain on our Friday.
Partly cloudy right now, 85 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Locally sourced.
Local's important.
Local matters. Grain-fed, highly organic news. Minnesota's radio station. News Talk 830 WCCO. No suit, no tie. Just DeRush. It's Drive Time. Live from the WCCO studios, high atop the Odyssey Tower.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise.
I'm super excited to introduce to you
Jason DeRush.
All right, it is Monday after a holiday weekend, back to work for many of us, although some of you are having that 4th of July weekend hangover, aren't you? It's Jason, Dan is here. Not you, Dan Cook. You're ready? You're fired up? You had a bunch of days off, didn't you?
I had a 4-day weekend, yeah. And does that qualify as a bunch?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know. When's the last?
I don't know either. That's why I'm asking.
I feel like I need to take some time off.
I think so too. No, I mean, I think you deserve.
Kate Raddatz, what is Dan Cook saying to me? Listen to that.
I think you work very hard and you deserve some time off, right, Kate?
Yes, you work. You're a hard worker. Yes, you work very hard. Yes.
Kate Raddatz with McClung PR is with us for. Let's play your open. I jumped the gun here. I got too excited.
She's an Emmy Award-winning reporter.
Yeah, I love it.
She's a senior public relations pro. She can belt out the national anthem better than most.
It's a process. Like, you got to find someone to do it with because it's not fun by yourself. So I don't know.
But maybe the most important role she plays coming at the stories of the day from the perspective of a millennial mom. Let's all learn a thing or two from the mind and filter of Kate Raddatz.
Yeah, there you go. There's what's happening.
This is the Rad Report.
Now it's official. Kate Raddatz with McClung PR is with us. You need the open. Do you ever?
I wasn't sure if that was my time. I'm like, I didn't hear a song.
Right. In the open, it talks about you singing the national anthem. I don't know. Did you see the story in the newspaper? I think it was in print on Sunday, but it was online this weekend, talking about how difficult it is to sing our national anthem.
Yes. It is a very difficult song to sing, and obviously people have a lot of opinions about how they want it to be sung. And the general consensus I have gotten over the years is people really like it when you keep it simple. They do not. That is not a time that people want you to do a bunch of frills and extra notes and whatever. That's just the consensus I have gotten. But yes, it is a challenging song to sing, and
a special type of person
where
in a stadium, when you have like sort of the echo and trying to cancel that out and just listen to yourself and say, like, it's difficult. It is difficult, I think.
It's very difficult. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've sung at Target Field, but I want to say that was particularly difficult. So yes, it totally depends on the venue, but yes.
I like it fast. I like it like
it to clip along.
I don't this is not a funeral dirge. I do not like the slow, like let it rip, but it is. I think I've told you this before. I used to practice singing this song. I was a strange child, let's be honest.
Okay.
But I would practice singing the national anthem in our unfinished basement growing up.
Okay.
Because it was pretty good acoustics there in the unfinished basement.
Sure. We all have a place. Yes.
That was my place, and it was out of the way. And I would practice our anthem, and I would practice "O Canada," because I thought there's a pretty good chance that I was going to be singing that at Chicago Stadium at a Blackhawks
I did not
game.
Know this. Okay.
Yeah. And "O Canada," much easier song. Much easier song.
Did it ever happen? Did I miss something?
No, I never even tried to do this. I've never even auditioned. I did sing the 7th inning stretch once at a Twins game, but that's about as close as it gets.
That's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. Yes, that it is a tough. But you say you don't like it slow. See, these are the things I think about when I hear people go really slow. I go, ooh, I wonder if they can't hear themselves well. Because sometimes if you go, you tend to slow down when you're waiting to hear yourself. So I don't know. I'm always sympathetic to the people singing, but I do enjoy it. I love listening to it every time.
Yeah, it does. I will say, like, as much as I am empathetic to the argument that maybe we should change our national anthem, that this one isn't a great national anthem. I think it's not a great national anthem objectively, but emotionally it still does. Like, I always get like sort of the butterflies,
Can anyone watch Whitney Houston's version and not just feel if I'm having a bad day, I will pull up that video and I am ready to go. So yes.
No, I was thinking about, so I was going to open up the phone lines last week and have people try to sing the national anthem. But
oh boy.
I thought better. I thought better of that idea. I think
it was a creative thought. It was creative.
Like, I'll give you the words and let's see if you can let it rip. It's a
someone would be good. I bet you'd get somebody out of many.
Somebody
would be good.
That's right. Did you guys, your kids are young. It's sort of prime, like great 4th of July age, I would think. What did you guys do for the 4th?
It's really become one of my favorite holidays. It's like getting Christmas in July because my whole family, we got to see almost all of my nieces and nephews. All the cousins get together. We're on the water. Only Saturday was kind of the iffy weather day, and we haven't had great. It feels like it's been a while since we've had great weather, and it was great weather. So, yeah, we were just on the lake a lot. We do the bike parades. They just love. It's just really nice being with family, and our kids grow up with their cousins. So I just love it. It's like peak summertime to me. So.
Yes. I agree. Where you say. It is funny that it's peak summertime, but also there's a little bit where it feels like, is it over? Is summer almost over now? Like,
when you're a kid in school, you always felt like you're like, oh, well, summer's over halfway.
Yes, right. The back to school sales are happening.
I already started shopping.
It's
I'm
Target
already doing
Circle week. It's Best Buy. Blue, I don't know what they call their thing. Has Amazon Prime thing? Has that started yet? I don't know. All of the things are happening.
Well, and there's always a blogger. There's always at least one who will post a pretty reel that says it's all these images of fall. It's like, this is only 60 days away. I'm like, why are we talking about this?
No. I have not been on.
Summer,
I haven't been on a boat yet, so I'm not ready to throw up the halfway point.
Oh, we got lots of time. July is the best. It's like 95 degrees every day. This is the best. This is the best part of summer. So you've got lots of time.
Kate Raddatz is with us. Kate, do you think of yourself as a cool person?
No. And
do others think you're cool?
I mean, if they're my friend, hopefully they think I'm cool. It depending on how you describe cool, I would say there are personality traits that make me cool, but overall, I don't generally can describe myself as a cool person.
There is a new study that identifies 6 traits. 6 traits.
Okay.
In coolness. Because there are certain people, and I think about this like when I'm scrolling Instagram, and this is I love fashion. And my number one question I always find myself asking when I see an outfit that I like and think I would like to buy. And the question is, do I like this outfit? Or is this just an incredibly cool person who's being photographed? In it, right? You're like, this would look stupid on me because I'm not cool enough.
Sure.
That
makes sense.
So this study says, here are the 6 traits of coolness.
Okay.
And this is as written up in the New York Times But I looked, it's a real study. It's not just like some kind of dumb survey. It's from the
Okay.
University of Arizona, University of Georgia, published by the American Psychological Association. So here we go. Number 1, extroverted. I think that's usually true. Sorry, Dan
Yep.
Cook, you're out. Number 2, hedonistic. I think that's right. Yep, like a little element of like, are you indulgent in some way?
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Powerful. Yeah. Adventurous, open, and autonomous. This is from 12 countries around the world. And the traits were almost all the same, no matter where you were. So in the past, the research said that coolness is linked with friendly, competent, trendy, and attractive. But there's something more than that, right? Like there's like, whenever I think of somebody that is cool, there's always like an element of, like, there's a little element of danger, a little bit of risk taking.
Sure. Yes.
So in
Yes, I
that
could see that.
term, you would not be cool.
I would not be. No, I'm definitely a rule follower. Yeah, I would not count. This explains why I was not also cool in high school. Yes.
I'm trying to think, like, media people in town. Are there any media people who read as cool?
Ooh.
Like Paul
I'm gonna
Majors?
feel bad if I see. I think Frank is cool.
Frank
is cool to me. I think Amelia is cool.
Yeah. So I think Amelia gives cool. Frank, no.
No. Oh no, I think Frank is pretty cool. I think he's pretty cool. But I also know Frank. You know, when you know, it's like,
yes, Frank is cool, but like I don't know
Yeah.
that he gives. I don't
that's
know
what
that
I'm
he
saying.
gives.
Maybe I can't, think of just.
I'm just
by
thinking like the
looking at
perception.
him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I mean, I'm sure there's
Rosen, I think Mark
ton of people.
Rosen's a little cool. I think Amelia's cool.
cool.
Robin Robinson, now she was cool. The Fox 9 anchor, when she was in town, she gave cool.
Yes, definitely.
Well,
for sure.
I don't
But
know.
it is a little bit of a rule breaker, I think, type probably thing. More of the adventurous.
All right, text in with
quality.
your cool. Who gives you cool vibes in Minnesota? 651-461-9226. We'll break. Maybe you guys will come up with something better than Kate and I did. Back in just a minute on Drive Time.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRush on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Kevin at JH & Sons is cool. He is trying to make me cool. And, I mean, you have to work with the Lord gave him. You know what I mean? It's Jason here for my friends at JH & Sons. They're at the Galleria in Edina. And if you want to look cool when you go out on a date night or you're going on vacation, they've got incredible seasonal clothing right now. Up your game. If you don't have a linen outfit yet, what are we doing? Get to JH & Sons. Kevin or Bryce or Dean, any of the great people who work at this incredible family-owned store. The Halberstadt family has done so much to make men look their best in Minnesota for more than 50 years. They started in St. Cloud. Now they're in Sioux Falls. They're in Omaha. And boy, they have a beautiful store at the Galleria. Looking for new suits as well? Oh, back to the office. Maybe you're returning to the office this fall. Go get measured for a new suit. You deserve it. Premium menswear, premium service. You deserve it. Go to jhandsons.com.
Thielen Meats of Piers is where tradition meets taste.
Family grown, employee owned. We've mastered the art of meat.
That's why we're the #1 meat market in Minnesota.
And we're located right here in Piers.
Check out our mouthwatering selection at thielenmeats.com.
Better yet, stop in and see for yourself. We're serving up love one cut at a time.
Thielen Meats, from our family to your feast.
No meal's complete without Thielen Meats
of Piers.
Time for you to work with Pella Windows and Doors, a company celebrating 100 years in business. How do you track them down? Showroom in Plymouth, showroom in Woodbury. Go online, PellaNorthland.com. They're the best. How about this deal in the month of July? No payments, no interest if paid in full within 24 months, and $250 off per window, $500 off per door. PellaNorthland.com.
We ask parents to share their journey of adopting teens.
They changed who I am because I can't see life without them in it.
Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
DeRush now returns on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, we're talking about the traits that make somebody cool. Kate Raddatz is with us, the Rad Report. Texters coming in with a couple cool names. I don't know. No, but I feel like no one's really nailing it. One texter
We
said,
don't know cool people.
maybe that's just it. Michelle Tafoya, back on her sideline days, I think like she was very cool. When you're in the sports world, there's a coolness. You're just kind of cool by association, right? Michael Grady,
absolutely.
the Timberwolves play-by-play guy, cool.
Marielle Mose is my friend, so I feel like I have to say
she
she is very cool.
Yep, she does give cool. She gives cool vibes.
Yes.
Oh, another texter. If there's somebody like I've met a lot of lawmakers. So most lawmakers not cool. Most politicians not cool. Bobby Joe Champion, this texter says that's Bobby Joe's got a little bit of a coolness to him. I think the Speaker of the House, Lisa Damon, she's got like a little cool edge to her. Yeah. Your boss, Brian McClung, not cool.
He's out of town, so we could say that.
That's fine. Yeah. I don't know. Would he argue with that? I'm not sure.
I don't know. Yeah, he would probably not. He would probably not. Most people would describe him as cool. He would probably not.
No. Yeah, I don't know. This is not exactly a cool town. You know what I mean? Like,
no,
we're Minnesota.
I don't use that term ever to describe ever. I don't ever think of the word cool ever. I never look at someone and think, "Oh, they're really cool," or what they're wearing is really cool. I just don't.
I kind of do.
Really?
Like there are certain people you'll be like out to one of our viewers on YouTube said Sean Sherman, Sean Sherman is objectively cool, the sous chef from Owamni. He is cool.
Oh, sure.
Prince, of course, like yes, peak of cool. Yeah, I don't know. We were out.
I don't know.
Alyssa and I were at the Four Seasons patio, the Riva Terrace, yesterday, and these two guys walked in, and they were young and had like sort of the flowy young guy hair, and they were wearing what looked like almost like I don't know, like Western style shirts.
Okay.
And Alyssa's like, what do you think their story is? It's our favorite game to play when we're out. It's to create the fictional story about other people. So like at one table next to us, I'm pretty sure was a pilot and a flight attendant. They were both married, or at least they both had wedding rings. And his body language said, this is just a couple of friends. And her body language said, ready for takeoff. So,
oh, geez, calling these people out.
It was very interesting. And then these two guys came in, and you're like, whoa, these are a couple of cool cats, because it was just the way that their clothing and whatever. I don't know. It gave cool vibes. You're too suburban. You're not having enough cool fun, maybe.
if I say someone's cool, I'll say, oh, they're really cool. He's a really cool guy. I mean, they're really fun. They're really nice.
Yeah, that's not cool. That's just
apparently not.
No,
apparently not.
It's like cool. There's like a vibe that some people just give you. Like I was at the Get Down coffee shop in North Minneapolis today, and Houston White, who owns it. It's like that guy is objectively cool. I always feel like a absolute nerd, you know?
Sure.
There are certain people you're around, you're like, oof.
They exude cool.
Yeah, and you're like,
apparently I need to find that pool.
Jonathan on YouTube is saying he thinks he's cool. Why not?
There you go. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
One texter said it's subjective. That people, but I mean, of course, like, yes, and like there's certain people where you're just like, that. You know, there's certain Hollywood stars, right? You think like George Clooney, cool.
He's cool.
Brad
Yes,
Pitt,
absolutely.
cool.
Yes.
Samuel L. Jackson, cool. Charlie XCX, if you want like a pop star today, like there's a coolness there. Why? We don't know. Maybe it's these 6 traits, according to the New York Times. Who knows?
Yeah, introverts have it always puts the extrovert on there. That's tough. It's always they make it harder to be an introvert. You know, they always associate cool with being more,
which is kind of weird because
more extroverted.
Yeah, but you think about like Bob Dylan. There's a guy that. So I think sometimes there's like a mysterious coolness that happens.
Yes.
Fast Company said there's a new trend emerging among Gen Z career professionals. Have you heard about this new trend? It's called micro-retirement. Micro-retirement. Now, does micro-retirement sound good to you, Kate? Does that sound intriguing?
It depends what it is. How long is this micro-retirement?
Micro-retirement is, I believe a lot of us would just call it a vacation.
Okay.
But so
okay.
But we need like a cool trend. Cool. It's the cool factor.
It's cool. We like to label everything.
Micro retirements involve taking a 1 to 2 week break from work.
Okay.
Every 12 to 18 months. But it's a little bit different. It's like an intentional, unpaid time to rest and recharge.
An unpaid time?
Unpaid time. It's a retirement. So like maybe you quit a job and then find a new job when you're ready to work again. Dang it.
That's dumb. For a week? No, thank you. No.
Maybe you set up a plan with your employer that allows you to take unpaid frequent work breaks.
Okay, why don't you find a place to work that offers a thing called vacation time and just take a week off and do it more than 18 months.
Micro retirement. Just wanted to introduce everybody to that. Genius.
We love labeling.
Good job, Gen Z. You've done it. Kate, very fun. Thanks for hanging with us today.
Hey, thank you so much.
Kate Raddatz, the Rad Report. She is a big shot at McClung PR. Don't tell her boss that I said he's not cool. We are going to break. When we come back, I want to revisit the absolute tragedy in Texas from this weekend. Nearly 100 people killed in flooding. It's bringing attention to the issue of warnings. And where are we on warnings? We are going to speak with an expert from the University of Wisconsin-Madison in just a minute here on DriveTime.
This is Drive Time with DeRush on News Talk 830 WCCO.
We're here because we love you and because we haven't heard you quote the morning news in weeks.
You've been listening to podcasts from out of town with ads for meal kits.
You used to text me storm warnings before the Weather Channel, and I watched that all day.
We miss the old you, the one who scheduled lunch around Ask Adam Anything, who knew the Twins pregame music by heart.
Binge proudly, binge often. Binge the broadcasts at News Talk 830 WCCO, because some habits are worth keeping.
Storm season is here. That means nature's fury will cause damage to your roof. When it does, that's when you call Brian Job of Job Brothers Construction. Because they're local, they offer same-day Twin City-wide emergency service. Job Brothers Construction will repair or replace your roof from nature's wrath. They'll also work with your insurance company to ensure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. Brian and his team truly take the hassle out of a terrible situation. Working with Brian and his crew will give you peace of mind because it was done right. Just contact Job Brothers Construction for a no-obligation, free, and full inspection. Contact them online at jobbrothersconstruction.com. That's J-O-B-E, Job Brothers Construction, handling all your roofing, siding, window, and gutter needs. They'll even repair your roof from fallen trees. Job Brothers Construction. They get the job done right.
You can do this. Why? Because no one cares more about your money than you. Right now, many have concerns about their retirement, their investments. Are these mutual funds a poor investment? Did you know that with the average fees of 2%, you could be missing out on upwards of half of your potential retirement dollars? That's pretty high for management, especially when 75% of these funds underperform the market. At Trading Academy, our mission is to empower you to take control of your investments. Text investing to 210-210. Take control of your financial future. Maybe it's to just have a better conversation with your broker. Sign up for a free investing class, local classrooms, one-on-one mentoring, how to protect your investments against inflation. Text investing to 210-210 or go to learnwithota.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind, to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-949-1441. That's 800-949-1441. 800-949-1441.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is Traffic and Weather Together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Crash has been taken care of. North 169, Rockford Road. Still some congestion as you come up from Highway 55. If you're going to be traveling South 169, got some slowdowns there. 494 heading down to Old Shakopee Road. 494 westbound. You're going to find dipping speeds coming across the Minnesota River Bridge and some slowdowns on 694 northbound coming up from 94 heading up to 15th Street over in Oakdale. Joey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Auto Owners is local, personal, and affordable. That's simple human sense.
Ask Miller Hartwig Insurance in Lakeville if auto owners make sense for you.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
CCO forecast brought to you by Miller Hartwig in Lakeville, proudly representing auto owners insurance. Here is Chris Schaefer.
Showers and a few isolated non-severe thunderstorms rolling through. Things quiet down overnight. We'll fall back to 68, warm up to 84 tomorrow with a partly cloudy sky. Almost a carbon copy on Wednesday. Partly cloudy, 84. It does get more humid and hotter on Thursday. Rain showers come through on Friday, and looking ahead to the weekend, a little cooler. Highs in the upper 70s and less humid.
Right now, it is warm. It is sunny. It is 83 on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRush Hour.
I don't like the funny stuff. And I know what you're thinking. I'm familiar with your show. You clearly don't like the funny stuff.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, I want to talk about warnings, storm warnings. Are there too many? Are we as consumers, like, are we doing our job as far as following them and paying attention? To get some insight, we go to Chris Vigaski, who is a meteorologist. He is the manager of the Wisconsin Environmental Mesonet at the University of Wisconsin College of Agricultural and Life Sciences. And if you know me, Chris, I love a mesonet.
Who doesn't love a mesonet these days?
I mean, I tell you what. Thanks for being with us today. Talk to me about the warnings, because obviously watching what happened in Texas is absolutely devastating, heartbreaking. The flooding so fast, and the death toll 95. I mean, my goodness. But there's been, of course, the usual sort of political finger pointing you have. There have been conversations about the National Weather Service and warnings. But I know warnings, that the issue of warnings, are we overwarning? Are we communicating them clearly? I know that's something you've been interested in, right?
I have been. It's always it's been a topic of conversation among meteorologists for decades. I mean, you can look back to the early 1990s when we were even saying, is a forecast good if we get everything right, but nobody responds to it?
Huh. Yeah.
And that's where we're at still. We can issue a severe thunderstorm warning. We can issue a tornado warning. We can issue a flash flood warning. But is that warning getting to the public in a way that gets them to respond the way that we want them to respond, or the way that they need to respond to save their lives? And that's the big question, and it's the question that we're going to be working on for years to come.
Yeah, it is such a fascinating question, right? And I think about this as, now I'm a talk show host, but I spent 25, 30 years in television news, where you think, all right, you can do the greatest story in the world, but if nobody sees it, what's it good for? What's the point? And I think that's sort of the question in the meteorological world, right?
It really is. The National Weather Service put out warnings and watches July 3rd, July 4th. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, there's a flood watch for Central Texas. At 1 o'clock in the morning, flash flood warning for Kerrville. At 4 o'clock in the morning, flash flood emergency. That's the highest level of warning for Kerrville, saying you need to get to higher ground. And it's a question of, how do you respond to that in the middle of the night? Do you have your WIA alerts turned on your phone so that the alarm starts blaring? A lot of people have turned those off. Do you have people that are looking at the warning and just ignoring it? I've seen a couple of cases of that happening in Texas. And then if you don't have the WIA alerts turned on your phone, how else are you getting that warning? Do you have a NOAA weather radio? Do you have a phone app that is from your local TV station that's sending you notices? And then when you get that warning, are you looking at that and really saying, okay, this is something that's going to affect me. I need to take action. I need to move to higher ground. I need to go to a shelter.
So, Chris, you're in Wisconsin, where the geography is sort of similar to what we have here in the metro in Minnesota. And I definitely, I looked at this, and I got to be honest, when I see a flash flood warning in our part of the country, I pay attention to it, but I sort of, you know what I mean? I barely pay attention to it, because we don't, I don't know that. Well, one, there are so many warnings already. Two, I'm more concerned about tornadoes around here. Three, I'm not, there's no risk that my home is going to get washed away in a flash flood based on where I live. Am I wrong to this weekend I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, should I be paying more attention to this stuff? And also the practical question of, there's a lot of warnings. Should we adjust our life every single time something comes out?
I think that when a warning comes out, and a lot of people do this already, but when a warning comes out, people tend to look for confirmation. You look to the TV station and see if they've got a picture of the flooding or a picture of the tornado.
Yeah.
So people need to do that. It helps to have confirmation. You don't always just grab one piece of information and run with it. And certainly here in Wisconsin, over there in Minnesota, right along the river, that's if a flood warning comes out for the river and you're along it, you really need to consider
For
that.
sure, yeah.
If you're a little bit further away, you can take that step to do some additional confirmation. Down in Texas, in Hill Country, which is where this took place, it's called Hill Country for a reason. There's a lot of hills, canyons, valleys that funnel all of this water into a single channel, which is why you can get these extreme rises in the river. And we saw the Guadalupe River go from a couple of feet to over 25 feet in a matter of minutes to an hour or so. So it's really very dependent on where you are, but it's always important to pay attention to the warnings. And when you receive one, to think about what's going on, see what's going on, and make a decision, and don't just scroll by it.
Chris Vygotsky is with us. He's a meteorologist at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. So, Chris, I have so many questions. Let's start with this overnight issue, because we had tornadoes in the overnight hours here in Minnesota a couple weekends ago. Overnight storms freak me out. It is a time where, often the media will be on, but sometimes cuts in staffing and everything. You don't always have the kind of wall-to-wall media coverage that you might have if it happened during regular hours. What could we be doing better to get that warning information kind of to the finish line, to the user, to the neighbor in those overnight hours? It's hard.
It really is. The overnight is kind of a worst case scenario. We see the most tornado fatalities. We see the most flooding fatalities at night. People are asleep, or if they are out, they don't see the tornado. They don't see the water coming over the roadway. So it's especially important to be thinking about what are we doing for these overnight events. And one thing that is always recommended is to have multiple ways to receive that warning information. Things fail, and nothing is perfect 100% of the time. Your phone, you may have thought you plugged it in, and the plug didn't work, and now your phone's dead, and you don't receive anything over the phone. So you need to have a backup option. It's always about thinking of, what am I going to do if? So, pay attention to things throughout the day. Know if there's going to be severe weather overnight, or if there's a chance of severe weather overnight. Get your phone charged before you go to bed. Have that weather radio and have that program to turn on if a warning is issued for your area. Know what you're going to do if a warning is issued for your area. Because if that alarm goes off and wakes you up at 1:32 in the morning, you're going to spend a little bit of time waking yourself up before you know what's going on. So if you have that plan in place, you're not trying to develop a plan while you're groggy and while you're trying to figure out what's going on.
Some of this, Chris, and understandably, some of this, people go political on these sorts of things. And I think, the impact of budget cuts and staffing cuts always should be analyzed. But in this case, from what I've been able to ascertain, first of all, federal budget cuts don't take effect until October. It seemed like they did have extra meteorologists on board in Texas in the overnight hours. And these warnings did come out when you look at the timeline. You're an expert. When you look at this, do you see anything there? Is there anything in the, President Trump blaming or the federal budget blaming?
In this situation, I don't think we saw impacts from any of the cuts that have been ongoing. There are 6 to 7 weather balloon sites that are around Texas, and they all launched their balloons the evening of July 3rd. And we've been seeing some issues with balloon launches around the United States in the last few months. But this isn't always going to be the case where everything, works out the way we want it to. If we continue with cuts to staffing, cuts to funding, that impacts our ability to get a good forecast and to get those warnings out. And if the new budget goes through as is, if Congress doesn't make changes to it, it would zero out a lot of the atmospheric research that's done at national labs, at cooperative institutes that are doing work now to issue better forecasts and issue better warnings in the future to create new forecast tools. So the funding needs to be there so that we can continue to get as good a forecast and as good of warnings out as we can.
The real issue, it seems, is are we taking these seriously enough? And frankly, in this scenario, and I think we all hate to look at a scenario and say sometimes catastrophic things happen. And in the middle of the night, in an area with probably questionable connectivity, frankly, some safety questions about if you tried to evacuate everybody in the middle of the night, it's dark and windy and narrow and hilly, and that brings up other safety issues. I mean, sometimes I hate to be defeatist about it, but sometimes just terrible, terrible, terrible things happen.
You know, sometimes things do happen, but I do want to point to a success story that there was another camp along the Guadalupe River there, and they evacuated in the middle of the night and got people to safety before the floodwaters reached the camp. So it is possible that even with everything working and conspiring against you, that if you are paying attention to the weather, you are paying attention to the warnings, you can make those decisions to get people to safety.
Yeah, that quick action. I mean, that was the Moe Ranch that evacuated 70 kids and adults, and they were monitoring it, and it is a lesson for all of us, I think, how important it is to take this stuff seriously. Chris, it's so interesting getting your perspective, and I really appreciate you spending some time with us today.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
Chris Vygotsky, meteorologist at University of Wisconsin in Madison. We let him on despite that, but, you know, there's a little bit of wisdom in Madison, too. 449. That's a Marquette grad talking here on Drive Time.
Drive Time with DeRush is on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hi, Denny Long here. Join us every Saturday for the Home Improvement Show by Lindis Construction. Andy Lindis and I will be taking your home improvement questions both by phone and by text every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock here on News Talk 830 WCCO.
612 Saturdays are back at Target Field. Enjoy $6 drinks, $1 snacks, and $2 food when gates open.
I'm from the 952. Can I enjoy 612 Saturdays?
The 952 is welcome.
I'm from the 218.
218, 651. Everyone is welcome at 612 Saturdays.
I'm from the 313. How about me?
That's Detroit.
Yeah.
Sure. Enjoy the weekend wind up with 612 Saturdays presented by Carbliss. $6 drinks, $1 snacks, and $2 food. When we're together, the Twins rise as one. Join in at twins.com/tickets.
Anytime is tune-up time at Apollo Heating, Air, and Plumbing. For only $59, get your AC ready for the summer heat. Just visit us at callapollo.com. That's callapollo.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-408-4040. That's 800-408-4040. 800-408-4040.
So many of us look around our house and say it is time to downsize. That's exactly what Susan and Kevin Borowick did. They join us now. I want to ask you about the process of working with the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty, and your agent, Kieran Evanson.
Well, it was just extremely smooth. We sat down, he did a market analysis for us so we could really develop a good pricing strategy. He sent out a staging consultant who helped us get things ready for showing. We just couldn't be happier. We received an offer, actually more than one offer, quite a bit over our asking price.
That's part of the whole Schuster Group difference, is that their marketing programs really target the right buyers. Did you feel that when they were going through the process with you?
Absolutely.
If someone is on the fence about hiring the Schuster Group, what would you tell them?
They greatly exceeded our expectations, and I would say you just cannot go wrong working with the Schuster Group.
Contact John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, 952-222-9000, online, johnschustergroup.com. Terms and conditions may apply.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. No title? No problem. Call 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS or go online at carsforkids.org to donate today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is Traffic and Weather Together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Things are slow for South 169, 494 heading down to Pioneer Trail. Possible crash working there. If you're going to be traveling 35W southbound, that's plugged up. 106th Street is head down to Highway 13. 35E watching slowdowns both directions between Highway 36 and 94. 10 westbound jammed up is moved between Foley and Hanson. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCL.
Hungry? Go to Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan for real Texas barbecue. All meats smoked fresh in-house daily. You can dine in, take out, have it delivered, or have your event catered anywhere in the metro. Just go to Dickeys.com. Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan, the Twin Cities catering leader.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan, the Twin Cities catering leader at Dickeys.com, bringing us Chris Schaefer's forecast tonight. Showers early. Isolated thunder, low of 68. Tomorrow, 84. Wednesday, 84. Right now, it's 84.
Drive Time continues on the roads and on your radio. News Talk 830 WCCO.
I have performed Take Me Out the Ball Game before at a Twins game. I was nervous. I was excited. It was such an honor. It was a very different approach to what Cubs fans saw and heard at Wrigley Field yesterday.
All right, Saturday, Cubs fans, are you ready?
This is Alex Cooper, podcaster. Call me dad. Call her dad. Oh no! Now just wait, because Cubs fans don't play. Oh, they're just absolutely torching her. No. That's a no.
Not good. Especially because that's such a cherished tradition.
Harry Carey made it legendary.
Yes.
And this is another example of people who allow their own success to make them think that they're the main character in every single scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are asked to be a part of a cherished tradition, you are asked to be a part of something bigger than you, not to make you the thing. And I understand the richness of one Jason DeRush saying there are times that you do not need to be the main character. But there are times, and that is one of them. She is just absolutely getting torched. And I'm here for all of it. All of it. It is.
And she'll turn it into clicks somehow, I'm sure.
I'm sure she'll be fine. Like, whatever. But good for Chicago, right? Like, that is the correct reaction. Sometimes you gotta. I'm not a fan of like letting the rando who's doing the seventh. Don't boo them over at Target Field. But like, you are not the main character. DeRush Hour news headline coming up.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or play. Stop, opt out. Terms and conditions apply to the earnings promotion.
Do you have caregiving experience as a parent, teacher, nanny, coach, or in another similar role? Hop Skip Drive is looking for experienced caregivers who want to help students in their community by driving them to and from school. Earn up to $50 per ride with Hop Skip Drive's welcome promotion, all while helping your community. If you have your own vehicle that is no more than 10 years old, a clean driving record, and at least 5 years of caregiving experience, you could become a Hop Skip Drive care driver. Just text KID to 323232 to get started right now. Hop Skip Drive gives you the flexibility to set your own schedule and earn competitive pay. It's simple. Drive in your free time and make a real difference for students right in your neighborhood. Don't wait. Text KID to 323232 right now. Text KID to 323232 and start earning up to $50 per ride during Hop Skip Drive's welcome promotion period. That's KID to 323232. Text KID to 323232 now.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 40-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost you about $100 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-352-9239. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-352-9239. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-352-9239. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. For affordable term life insurance, call 800-352-9239. 800-352-9239 or biglou.com.
AM 830 and 102.9 FM HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul. The voice of Minnesota and the home of Twins baseball. News Talk 830 WCCO.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. The death toll in Texas from the floods is now 95 and expected to grow. Senator Ted Cruz.
The pain, the shock of what has transpired these last few days has broken the heart of our state.
Correspondent Jason Allen reports 27 of the victims were at a girls' camp.
This was just covered in mud and tree branches, and this is a camp that just sits right up on the banks of the Guadalupe River. This would have been a very difficult spot for them to find any sort of higher ground to run to.
Reporter Karen Waugh in Kerrville, where the search efforts continue.
You hear helicopters flying by every once in a while. There are boats and drones. Agencies from other states and Mexico have come to help in this effort.
A tropical system swept through the Carolinas over the weekend, flooding homes. Jim Krasula reports at least one person was killed.
As much as a foot of rain fell and hundreds had to be rescued. Many need to find a new place to live. Teza Satterwhite had to jump out of an apartment window to escape rapidly rising water in hard-hit Chapel Hill.
It was really scary. And then the lights went out. It was dark, and all you could see was the water just moving. That was really scary, for real.
Many roads and bridges were washed away, and tens of thousands are without power. There was also widespread flooding across South Central Virginia. Jim Krasula, CBS News.
President Trump sent letters today to some top trading partners, letting them know that if they don't reach a trade deal with the U.S. by August 1st, there will be new tariffs on their goods. CBS's Ed O'Keefe is at the White House.
He's already issued letters to the leaders of Japan and South Korea, telling them that they will face a 25% tariff on imported goods, and that the tariff may come down if you start building more of your goods in the United States.
President Trump will host Israel's prime minister at the White House this evening. Erica Brown reports they'll discuss the latest proposal for a ceasefire in Gaza.
An official briefed on the negotiations tells CBS News the current proposal is for a 60-day ceasefire with a phased release of hostages, Israeli troop withdrawals from parts of Gaza, and discussions on a permanent end to the conflict.
Correspondent Matt Piper on some new research in the Journal of the American Medical Association, which finds kids are not as healthy as they once were.
The study says the health of children has gone down over the past 17 years, with kids today more likely to be obese and suffer from chronic diseases and mental health problems like depression. A child these days is 20% more likely to have a chronic condition like anxiety, depression, or sleep apnea, according to data reported by parents and doctors.
On Wall Street, stocks finished lower over tariff concerns. The Dow is off 422 points. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Minnesota's trusted voice. Every hour on the hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Mostly cloudy now, 84 degrees at 5:03. I'm Laura Oakes. A Shakopee man is charged with second-degree murder after a Richfield woman was found dead inside her apartment last month.
27-year-old Jose Gique was arrested last Thursday in connection to the death of 22-year-old Kaylee Arseth, who was found shot to death inside of her Richfield apartment on June 17th. Prosecutors allege Gique had been messaging Arseth after meeting her online, asking her for a romantic relationship, and that Arseth had told him she was only interested in friendship. Police found 2 bags of discarded items, including ammunition, near a location where Gique's phone was stationary after the shooting. Mark Fry, News Talk 830 WCCO.
And Gique appears in court tomorrow afternoon. The investigation continues after a stabbing in the South Metro this weekend.
Police say they found the man lying on the sidewalk of the intersection of Pennock Avenue and 138th Street in Apple Valley. That intersection is just apart. The man emergency crews his life, but he was ultimately declared dead at the scene. Names are not released and no one is in custody. Authorities are asking anyone who has exterior cameras in that area 2 and 3 yesterday morning. Al Shock, News Talk 830 WCCO.
A deadly fireworks accident in northwestern Minnesota. The Mahnomen County Sheriff's Department says a 13-year-old boy was killed when a firework he was holding went off, shooting through the bottom of the tube it was in and hit him in the chest. Authorities say the teen was not breathing when officers arrived. Bystanders were giving chest compressions and officers performed life-saving measures, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. The investigation continues. A planned closure of the Metro Transit Green Line could be problematic for thousands of concert goers this weekend.
An upcoming 9-day Green Line station closure comes amid a predicted uptick in rider demand as the Minnesota Yacht Club Festival kicks off St. Paul during that same time. And according to the Pioneer Press, the city's mayor's office has voiced major concerns. Starting July 11, 13 stations will be offline for maintenance. Metro Transit's Drew Kerr says the closure is necessary.
Our goal at Metro Transit is to provide safe, reliable light rail service, and to do that, we have to periodically undertake scheduled maintenance to track and other light rail equipment. So that's what's happening here. We do try to limit the impact of these types of activities. We know they're disruptive.
He added that while replacement buses will still be able to get concert goers to the area where the event's entrance is, commuters should plan for longer travel times.
That's WCCO's Taylor Rivera. In a statement, St. Paul Deputy Mayor Jamie Tincher says these travel alternatives would have been unnecessary if maintenance was scheduled before or after the concert dates. Organizers say the Taste of Minnesota Festival drew a total of 135,000 people over its 2-day span this past weekend. Some would-be concert goers, though, say they were turned away before they could get to see yesterday's headliner Ludacris due to capacity issues. Event organizers said those limits are set by public safety, but they will try to make adjustments before next year's Taste. WCCO News Time is 5:06.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is Traffic and Weather Together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Things are slow for the South Metro, South 35W, 106th Street, heading to Highway 13. Cedar southbound, that's jammed up past Old Shockery Road, heading down to Highway 13 as well. West 694, slowdowns in place, Matterhorn to 252 if you're up on the north side. Then westbound, still slow rise, make way past Hanson, and you're going to find some slowdowns north 169 past 610. Joey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jason DeRush here. The Canopy Group represents 16 different insurance companies, not just one. They give you options. Each year, they'll review your program so you don't have to, making sure you get the best coverage at the best price. Do like I did. Go to thecanopygroup.com.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Brought to you by the Canopy Group. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
The showers and isolated thunderstorms roll through early tonight, should quiet down overnight. Partly cloudy tomorrow with a high of 84. Not bad. I think we matched that on Wednesday. It does get warmer and humid on Thursday. Our next best chance of rain on our Friday.
Mostly cloudy right now. That rain on the way. 4 degrees at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Take CCO to work with you. Just don't expect us to help with those TPS reports. News Talk 830 WCCO. No suit, no tie. Just DeRush. It's Drive Time. Live from the WCCO studios, high atop the Odyssey Tower.
You're watching the cool brainwashing 12-year-old and younger station that hides behind a slick image. We're so cool. Decide what's cool. Now, here's your host,
Jason DeRush.
Well, it looks like Governor Tim Walz is going to run again. Welcome to Drive Time. It's Jason. Just within the last half hour, the Minnesota Star-Tribune has published a new interview that they did this morning with the current governor. And the quote, "If we run again, we will win." Governor saying that he feels confident that he's not going to face a nameless Republican. He's going to face his quote. He says it will be one of theirs who will bend the knee to Donald Trump. And it will be this bill tanking the economy and Donald Trump having done more stuff. Walz says if we run again, we will win. I have the capacity to ramp up a campaign that will be bigger than anything that they would see. It does go to something we've talked about often on this show, and that is that in politics, it is always about who is the opponent. So in theory, do I think the best thing for Minnesota would be for Governor Tim Walz to run again? Well, is this an abstract question or is this a what's the other option question? Right? Because this isn't like going to Best Buy and you could decide to buy a TV or not. You have to buy the TV. So who you want Tim Walz for a third term? Do you want whichever Republican will run again? I do think there are some Democrats who would be strong candidates, but I see why the governor would make that calculation the way he is making it. Because let's be real, let's look at the Republican candidates who have stepped up to run for any statewide office, which U.S. Senate or governor. Hasn't exactly been the all-star team. So that story just coming out within the last half hour in the Star Tribune. Let's do the DeRush Hour news headline.
Now, time to get you caught up on some of the biggest stories of the day. These are the DeRush Hour headlines.
Good evening. Our top story.
This just in.
Our top story.
We begin tonight.
We begin tonight.
We begin tonight.
We begin with the lead.
And we start with the end of the bromance. The Trump-Musk era is over, and over the weekend, in reaction to the big part of the bill that President Donald Trump calls the big, beautiful bill, Elon Musk said, I'm out. It is time for a new party, a new political party. And he filed paperwork with the Federal Elections Commission to create the America Party. Interesting that Elon Musk could not run for president as he is not born in America. But he's got the money to put behind a third party. Our guy, Chris Cillizza, with a Substack, called So What, and a YouTube channel under his name explains why he thinks this Elon Musk America Party won't work.
I think it is at least a 50-50 chance, and probably better than 50-50 chance, that Elon is just talking, right? If Elon real first of all, forms a actual party with the Federal Election Commission, step one. Step two, funds said party, and not just funds it, but hires real serious people to be involved. And then starts, and I would argue you got to start lower. He's starting at the Senate and House level. That's better. Most third-party efforts start at the presidential level, doomed to failure. Start at the state legislative level. Get a few people elected to the America Party, have a platform, and build to it. You don't start in the major leagues. You start in the minors, and you build up to the majors so that you're ready when you get there. Now, again, do I think Elon is actually going to do all those things? I mean, he's the richest man in the world. He can do what he wants, but I think it's unlikely, right? I think he's very mercurial, for lack of a better word. He kind of says and does lots of things, or says a lot of things and does less of them. He did put $290 million behind Republican candidates and Donald Trump in the 2024 election. And again, I keep saying, richest man in the world, so you can't totally discount it. But building a party is not a top-down. It really is a ground-up thing. And that's what I think all third parties have missed, which is you've got to figure out how to get people elected at the state and local level, state legislative, city council, et cetera, before you think about House, Senate, and certainly the presidency. And then again, once you get anyone elected,
In theory, that is the key challenge for sure. We'll see if this is just talk, as Chris speculates, or if it turns out to be something more. Next up on the DeRush Hour news headlines is the continued fallout over the absolute tragedy in Texas, where the death toll has now passed 100. This incredible storm came so fast and so furiously. It made us wonder about overnight warning. And are we doing enough as people sleeping, as people in our own homes, to receive these warnings in the overnight hours? We spoke with meteorologist Chris Gaske for the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
It really is. You know, the overnight is kind of a worst case scenario. We see the most tornado fatalities. We see the most flooding fatalities at night. People are asleep, or if they are out, they don't see the tornado. They don't see the water coming over the roadway. So it's especially important to be thinking about what are we doing for these overnight events. And one thing that is always recommended is to have multiple ways to receive that warning information. Things fail, and nothing is perfect 100% of the time. Your phone, you may have thought you plugged it in, and the plug didn't work, and now your phone's dead, and you don't receive anything over the phone. So you need to have a backup option. It's always about thinking of, what am I going to do if? So, pay attention to things throughout the day. Know if there's going to be severe weather overnight, or if there's a chance of severe weather overnight. Get your phone charged before you go to bed. Have that weather radio and have that program to turn on if a warning is issued for your area. Know what you're going to do if a warning is issued for your area. Because if that alarm goes off and wakes you up at 1:32 in the morning, you're going to spend a little bit of time waking yourself up before you know what's going on. So if you have that plan in place, you're not trying to develop a plan while you're groggy and while you're trying to figure out what's going on.
That is Chris Gaske. It is something that I think we all need to think a little bit more about as we come forward. Next up, there was quite a bit of conversation at the end of Taste of Minnesota this weekend. What a weekend it was. This free festival right in the heart of downtown Minneapolis, because record crowd, record attendance, and some disappointed that they weren't able to get in. It is bringing up questions, and these are good questions, I think. questions about, is this spot big enough? Let's go to one of the organizers from Taste of Minnesota, who is on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline, Josh Vosberg, who is with us to talk a little bit about that. First of all, Josh, congratulations on what a massive event. How many people downtown do you think?
I want to say at least 100,000.
Yeah, it's been huge. It's been huge. What's your
It was incredible.
what's your thought as far as, is this thing maturing to the point where maybe it does need a bigger main stage type area?
Well, that's a great question. Our hope for, this is our third year back, and every year we just try to improve and make the experience better for every single attendee. It's a free event that we want everyone to come and attend. That's after last night. It's incredible the attendance we had. It's incredible that people came together for, a weekend to just come see some music, some food, and, some art, and just experience like downtown life together as, as a whole state.
It was, I loved it. I was there both days. 60,000 people on Saturday, 75,000 people last night. And I think, a lot of it, Ludacris filled.
Incredible.
Yeah. I will say that, Dan, can I play a little bit of Ludacris? Well, hang on there. I got too many buttons up. I was so excited to play some
Same.
Ludacris because, like, why not? Here. Ridiculous. Come on, it's Ludacris.
You can't go wrong.
No. There is something about a certain age group, right? You had Cheap Trick and Joan Jett, and then last night to have Ludacris. It is like, this is designed right for me. You're saying, let's get the 50-year-olds and the 40 to 55-year-olds. This is our sweet spot, I think.
Right, like Cases, it just has something each day for everybody. Like yesterday, for instance, I've never seen a more diverse crowd in my entire life of just coming together for one artist, So it was absolutely amazing. I couldn't have asked for a better day. The attendance was amazing. But again, just all the diversity, just coming together to see Ludacris was just mind-blowing.
For sure, you never want to turn people away.
Absolutely.
But I guess it might be helpful for people who don't fully understand how the ticket situation works. Could you explain that? Because
absolutely.
The Taste there are you could get a ticket, but it wasn't exactly a regular ticket.
Correct. Basically, if you before the event go online to get a ticket, quote unquote, the ticket is basically just saying, "Hey, I'm coming to Taste of Minnesota." It is a completely free event that we want everyone to experience without having to pay for anything. We had Metro Transit providing free rides as well, so it was just we really wanted to make an experience affordable and available to everyone. I will say the number one thing that we will always consider and be at the top of our mind is everyone's safety. So with that, we were expecting and hoping to get a record number of attendance, but closing down the entrances just to keep everyone safe was a priority to make sure, again, just the safety of the crowd, safety of the entire event. It's incredible that we had to close down the entrances, just because, that was our hope from the very beginning to 3 years ago, and now coming to see how we've done each year and just improve and improve. I think people are noticing that we really are trying to make an experience that's available to everyone.
Yeah, the fact that it's free is sort of mind-blowing. It's really cool. Good stuff. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
We'll figure it out right next year if there are ways to do it.
Yeah, we'll see you next year. The Taste, 4th of July is on a Saturday next year, so just expect bigger and better surprises.
Good stuff. Josh Vosberg, Taste of Minnesota. We appreciate you. Thanks, Josh. That is page 1, the lead. Next, page 2. Lots of good stuff in the DeRush Hour news headlines, page 2, including the Minneapolis City Council setting a minimum price for vapes. What do you think about that? And an adult playing with Legos, doing really cool stuff. That's next.
It's the afternoon ride with Jason DeRush on News Talk 830 WCCO.
When's the last time you had Minnesota pork for dinner? It's Jason here from my friends at the Minnesota Pork Board. You know how I feel about Minnesota pork. It is a key part of the DeRush family's diet. It's what we eat every week, multiple times, because I love the flavor. Bacon is just the beginning of what you can do with Minnesota pork. If you go to mnpork.com and go to Pork 101, that's where you'll find all of their great recipes from all sorts of dietitians, recipe creators. They've got food that you can make in the air fryer if you don't want to fire up your oven on a day like today, like maple teriyaki glazed pork. That looks delicious. How about air fryer barbecue pork riblets? Or maybe you want to plan ahead for this weekend. Maybe it's rib time for you. We're going to grill. We're going to smoke. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Why not? How about miso pork chops? This great pineapple miso glaze that you can create and then throw those bad boys on the grill. I like plain old salt and pepper on a pork chop. Kind of boring, but I just absolutely love that flavor. Get to the grocery store, the butcher shop. Let's have Minnesota pork for dinner tonight.
Brianna is a member of Liuna Local 563.
If you're looking for a rewarding career in the construction trades, then consider joining Liuna like I did over 13 years ago. Union contractors are hiring construction laborers across every construction market, and union laborers earn great pay and benefits and have access to the Laborers Apprenticeship Program that provides free training for your entire career with no college debt. Our work is building a better and safer Minnesota.
For career opportunities, visit buildthenorth.com.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
I plan to rearrange my closet, but I stopped after picking the clothes up off the floor.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's award-winning language learning app will help you start speaking another language. Start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
Comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? Vous êtes où?
Vous êtes où?
Babbel's bite-sized lessons make it easy to learn words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks,
"How's your French going?"
you can say,
Babbel est amusant et facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue. Et cela ne prend que 15 minutes par jour.
when you want to really learn another language, it starts with Babbel. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating over 16 million subscriptions sold. Now save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
This is Drive Time with DeRush Hour.
I know some of you love this. It's not totally an old person thing, but sort of.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
DeRush Hour news headline starts with the Minneapolis City Council saying they might set a minimum price for e-cigarettes at $25. Wow. Fox 9 reporting on this, that the city council could act on this as early as Thursday. As early as Thursday. How about that? This is a significant price hike. According to the city, right now, the current minimum price for a single disposable e-cigarette is about $9. So they're looking to go to $25. You got to be 21 to buy an e-cigarette from any shop in Minnesota. City Council also looking to restrict new shops that sell tobacco from being located within 300 feet of schools. Doesn't include current. That would be for new shops. Significant price rise. I have mixed feelings on whether or not the government should be setting. If you want it, just ban it. If you want to ban it, ban it. I don't love all this. Like, let's mess with people's business so badly that we try to screw them. Just ban it. Have the guts to ban it would be my. Or just butt out would be another option. Most of us stopped playing with Legos when we were kids.
Lego sets, the gift that always clicks.
Minnesota Star Tribune reporting on Jeff Esler. Jeff started working on Legos when 2016. That's when he really started coming into his own. He created a miniature version of Nye's Polonaise Room, including the sing-along piano player in the world's most dangerous polka band. If you're watching on YouTube right now, you can see Jeff's brick model of Matt's Bar, which is on display above one of the booths in Matt's Bar in Minneapolis. This is both crazy and cool. He's done Lego dioramas of Glick's, the Monte Carlo, Riverview Theater, Grain Belt Beer Sign, Nokomis Beach Coffee Shop. Here's the Split Rock Lighthouse made of Lego bricks, which is on the dining table of his Minneapolis home. What should he do next? He said he played with Legos like crazy growing up, but when they introduced more adult-targeted kits, he's really gone crazy with it. Pretty fun. IDS Center, some people say, it's kind of plain, isn't it, the IDS Center? He's thinking about St. Paul Schmidt Brewery, which is pretty cool. They may be down to their last out. Talking about the St. Paul rookies. Fast pitch. Catherine Kovalenko in the Pioneer Press reporting that the Summer Travel League softball for girls is likely done. They've hosted girls from St. Paul and the surrounding area for more than 40 years, but they couldn't put together a 2025 team because only a few players signed up. What's happening to the kids? Well, as they get older, high school girls are often joining club teams that are more expensive. You know, you can find J.H. & Sons at the Galleria in Edina, but soon you may be able to find a brand new car. That's a very quiet new car. Little sort of the windup there was really destroyed. It's an EV. Minneapolis St. Paul Business Journal reporting about a Rivian dealer likely to set up shop inside the Edina shopping mall. Rivian has done this around the country, sort of like Tesla has some traditional dealers now. This will be more like a couple cars on display you'll be able to test drive, but then you buy it custom built and shipped from Rivian's factory in Normal, Illinois. Speaking of cars, who do you think has the most American car on the road? America! Yeah. America. Cars.com has something called the American Made Index. They looked at 400 different vehicles on the road with a 2025 model year. Number 1, Tesla Model 3. Number 2, Tesla. Number 3, Tesla. Number 4, Tesla. Number 5 is the Jeep Gladiator. Number 6 is a Kia, the EV6. And then a couple of Hondas, the Ridgeline Odyssey and Passport. The Volkswagen ID4 rounds out the top 10. You notice what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the top 10 are EVs. Mostly assembled in America, but with a lot. They include where they're made, the percentage of U.S. and Canadian parks, factory and employment, and the location of assembly. Pretty interesting stuff. So there you go. That's the DeRush Hour News headlines. The lead in page 2. When we come back, Dave Schwartz on the controversy over who didn't make the All-Star team. Next.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRush on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Storm season is here. That means nature's fury will cause damage to your roof. When it does, that's when you call Brian Jobe of Jobe Brothers Construction. Because they're local, they offer same-day, Twin City-wide emergency service. Jobe Brothers Construction will repair or replace your roof from nature's wrath. They'll also work with your insurance company to ensure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. Brian and his team truly take the hassle out of a terrible situation. Working with Brian and his crew will give you peace of mind because it was done right. Just contact Joe Brothers Construction for a no-obligation, free, and full inspection. Contact them online at joebrothersconstruction.com. That's J-O-B-E, Joe Brothers Construction, handling all your roofing, siding, window, and gutter needs. They'll even repair your roof from fallen trees. Joe Brothers Construction. They get the job done right.
When people think sleep apnea, they think CPAP. Now at Advent, we do all we can to help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine. And most sleep apnea sufferers who come to Advent are going to be able to avoid a CPAP altogether. Our unique Advent approach using simple in-office solutions can get your nose working and throat open all under one roof. You see, the root of every snoring and obstructive sleep apnea problem lies within the throat, nose, or both. At Advent, we know when we get the nose and throat working properly, most snoring and sleep apnea problems will subside. And we have the most simple and convenient, ultra-effective in-office solutions that can do just that. And this is why people have traveled by planes, trains, and automobiles from corners of the world you would never think of to find the sleep apnea and snoring relief you won't find elsewhere.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Most insurance accepted.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Lenny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to My Computer Career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary. Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is Traffic and Weather Together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Things are slow as you travel into downtown Minneapolis, eastbound 394, Park Place Boulevard into the downtown stretch. 494 northbound slowing, Rockford Road into the Fish Lake Interchange. Cedar South, watching heavy stuff there. 494 to Highway 13. And 35 east southbound, congested Maryland Avenue, heading down to Victoria Street. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Washburn-McCreevy Funeral Chapels and Cremation Services has been providing compassionate and personalized service for over 160 years. Honor your loved one and ensure your own wishes are met. Call 612-377-2203 or visit washburnmccreevy.com.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Washburn-McCreevy Funeral, Cremation, and Pre-Planning Services bring us Chris Schaefer.
Showers and a few isolated non-severe thunderstorms rolling through. Things quiet down overnight. We'll fall back to 68, warm up to 84 tomorrow with a partly cloudy sky. Almost a carbon copy on Wednesday. Partly cloudy, 84. It does get more humid and hotter on Thursday. Rain showers come through on Friday, and looking ahead to the weekend, a little cooler. Highs in the upper 70s and less humid.
There are some rain showers out in a little further out. We're looking at like Clearwater, St. Cloud area. Metro's clear, 83 on CCO.
Drive Time with DeRush is getting rolling again.
Perfect.
On News Talk 830 WCCO. He'll say what he thinks.
I hesitate to write them off after 4 games, but
Even when he isn't always right.
I'll once again admit that I was wrong. Shows you how much I know.
But that's what we love about him.
And I'm a Jersey snob.
The always entertaining and authentic Dave Schwartz now joins Jason for his weekly appearance on Drive Time with DeRush.
And Dave Schwartz joins us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline. Dave, I hope you had a good weekend. What did you do for the 4th of July? How was it?
It was good. You know, we went to we did the Minnesota thing and went to a lake.
Nice.
We had to go to 2 lakes because we went out in the afternoon. The first lake that we went to, there was nowhere to park. If anyone was on Lake Waconia this weekend, congratulations. We could not find a place to park, so we had to go to a second location, and we went to Lake Minnewaska, which was great. We hung out.
How were the fish? Fish biting?
How were the fish?
The fish?
We didn't fish that day. No, we
All
just let the kids swim, and they jumped off the lily pad, and we had a great time. But we didn't fish much. We fished other days, but not on actual July 4th. We took the day off and just swam. It was too windy. It was crazy wind.
I was at Ludacris last night, a taste of Minnesota.
Wow.
Yeah.
How was that, by the way? Can he still put on a show?
He does. He was very entertaining. And I will say, like, off the top of my head, I would have guessed that I knew about 2 or 3 Ludacris songs. And last night, it all came rushing back to me. Like the early 2000s, like unbelievable.
Well, he doesn't have any new stuff.
No,
I
don't think so.
Playing the new stuff. At this point, he's playing the hits, and that's the jam, right? I mean,
it was a more innocent time when you could have a song called I've Got Hoes in different area codes, and it was fine. It was fine. Today, there'd be like think pieces written about this, right?
It would be. I don't know if I'm ashamed or not ashamed to say that I actually do know every word to that song. And every time my wife asks me about, inevitably, what's the area code for something, I launch into song. True. She's rolling her eyes, I'm sure. Yes, it's every time.
He adapted it with a 612, 651, and 763 reference, which I thought was sort of stunning and very impressive to me. I was impressed at 7. I mean, rough break for the 952, but you guys are used to that in that part of our metro.
We have Cisco though, so like Cisco's on the west side.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's working on a remake of the thong song to get 952 in there.
I was loudly singing along with the song that I didn't know the title of it until I looked it up later. But it's there's a reference to licking from your head to your toes. And that was, I'm like, oh, I know this whole song. And Alyssa next to me is like, what is happening here? I'm like, just the spirit of Ludacris kind of infested my soul. I couldn't help myself.
She's never been prouder to be married to you, I'm sure.
Oh gosh. And part of me is thinking like other people at this show are like, is that Jason DeRush yelling out, I want to lick you from your head? It's just,
yeah.
And
they're thinking how cool you are. And they're going to tune into the show today.
Yeah.
Just because they
CCOAM, we are your
you're
leader.
going after the younger demo.
The Luda leader for sure is what we are.
Yeah.
Sadly, I did watch the Minnesota Twins kind of lose it in extra innings, which frankly, their play this weekend would not, losing that game would normally not be a concern, other than the fact that it's been such a tough first half of the season. They've got to be stripping this thing for parts, don't you think? I mean, I just don't see any other choice.
I mean, the rumors are out there. I've read them. I'm sure others have had about Byron Buxton and people. There's interest in him.
He's not going anywhere though, right? Like, come on. I don't think so.
I couldn't imagine that would be that's stripping the steering wheel away from the car. That just doesn't make any sense at this point. Of course, people are going to have interest in him. Again, it's still they would be sellers, I think, at the deadline. If they certainly won't be buyers at the point at the deadline if they want to. But overall, I mean, there are, not knowing every contract situation on the team, you're going to look, of course, but there still is, and I mean, I don't think people really stop to think about how much is in flux though right now in this organization. Is the fact that they're still looking, whether they're going to sell the team or not. They're still looking for their owners. Right. And that does, when you get into these decisions that have to deal with money and, you kind of need to have that blessing to make any big moves. So I would be very surprised if anything huge happens, but I'm sure if someone's calling, they are picking up the phone. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind. But when you look at the Central though, I mean, even as bad as things have been, they're still only 5 games out of the AL Central lead. Detroit is only 5 games ahead of them. So it's still like we look at it and we think, oh gosh, the season's been a complete wash. They're throwing down sacrifice bunts to win games.
That was pretty cool. Come on, that was pretty cool. That was a neat moment.
Amazing. It was amazing. Excuse me. They're 13. I'm sorry. They're 13 and a half games back. I was looking at the wild card number. They're in second, but 13 and a half games back.
Yeah, I mean, the Tigers are running away with it. But yes, we're still like within reach of a wild card spot.
Within reach of a wild card spot, so I don't know if you strip everything down or not, but it's just been kind of this weird season. I mean, you look at the rest of the Central, they're not all that great either. I mean, this is basically like Detroit's just running away with this right now at this point in the season.
Yeah. All-star decisions are making news in Twin City sports. Buxton, the only all-star for the Twins, probably right when your record is 43 and 47. Although, Joe Ryan, as far as a pitching performance, I would have liked to see Joe in the mix. He's had a great first half of the season.
I think his numbers deserve it, but I think you're 100% right that when you are 4 games below 500 on the season, it's almost impossible. We've seen it before where the Twins have had players who were definitely good enough, but they're way out. You're not going to see a team with 3 all-stars if you're below 500.
Yeah.
More than likely, though, at the end of the week, I'm sure Joe Ryan, maybe Duran's going to get added as injuries and those kind of things start to happen. My guess is Joe will find his way into the game somehow. But I do agree. I mean, his stuff has been consistently good most of the year. That hasn't been easy when you've been a Minnesota Twin this year to do something consistent. And so I think, I mean, you could make a real good case for what he's done to be an all-star right out of it. But my guess is he'll probably get added as some sort of replacement by the end of the week.
Lynx have sort of the Minnesota Lynx, I think, have a better case as far as complaining about their all-star selections. Now, basketball, rather, it's always strange. There are not that many people who make the all-star team. Still, the Minnesota Lynx are by far, their record is unreal. They're leading the WNBA, and to only have 2 players selected, Courtney Williams and Nafisa Collier, I think, I mean, is this just the other coaches don't like the Lynx or don't like Cheryl Reeve? Or because I think that's who picks in the WNBA. It's the coaches, right?
Yeah, that's a really good. I don't know, but you're right. As soon as you started saying that, I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, you could absolutely make a case for a number of different players. Kayla McBride could be one. I mean, there's certainly. When you're 17-2,
right?
To only have 2 all-stars is pretty silly. And I don't know what the politics at play is. I know I would be surprised if anyone actually willingly wanted to go against Cheryl Reeve because she can be tough. So I can't imagine that. But it is a little surprising that when you're that good and that dominant, I mean, they're 17-2, and you mean to tell me only 2 of their starting 5 are all-stars? Give me a break. And that's an absolute joke in my mind, and it doesn't help the league at all when you do things like that because they deserve to have more. And at that, at their record, you could put all of them in. The entire starting 5
honestly
for the all-star team could be the Minnesota Lynx.
Yeah, and I get like each team has to have a representative, and this will get even harder as the WNBA expands. But with the the limited number of teams there are. I don't know. It seems preposterous to me.
Well, and what's interesting is that the Lynx, guess who else has 2 All-Stars? The Washington Mystics, who are 8-10.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous to me. That is just egregious to me that you would have the same amount of All-Stars as a team that is 2 games below 500 when you're 17-2.
It's goofy. Dave Schwartz is with us. Dave, another article I saw this weekend talking about what's going to happen with the Timberwolves and Lynx and where they'll play and what that is going to end up looking like. I think nobody really knows. I still will. The betting money for me is that it will stay in downtown Minneapolis, but from a real estate standpoint, I understand why some people are starting to think, I wonder if this goes out to the suburbs.
Well, the Vikings tried. Remember when they built US Bank Stadium, they were very, very close to some land up in Ramsey County, and ultimately they ended up staying where they were
Arden Hills.
Downtown. Yeah. You want it. I mean, when you're a major team like that, you're in the city. I mean, that's what you want to be. You want the traffic. You want other places around. However, from an ownership standpoint, it always makes more sense. And it did. The Vikings did this in terms of their practice facility, of getting into areas where you can also develop the land around that, because that's where you make your money, not just on the stadium, but the hotels that are nearby and the parking that's nearby. And I mean, you look at what the Vikings have done out there with Vikings Lake and all the different streams of revenue that are coming in. I mean, that's kind of a great blueprint. So I still think I'm with you. I still think it feels weird not to have a Minnesota-Minneapolis team in the Twin Cities, but we've seen it before, and the Vikings were really close before they got before they got what they wanted to be in downtown, and for whatever reason, it just didn't work out. So I wouldn't be surprised if they at least look before settling, if they do settle back in Minneapolis.
Sounds good. Dave Schwartz, appreciate you. Always enjoy chatting on Mondays. Thanks for being with us.
Next time, I would like you to give me the entire set list of Ludacris, please, so I can hear exactly what songs you know and which one you don't. Thank you.
That's fair. Next time I'll do it. I promise. Back in just a minute here on Drive Time.
This is Drive Time with DeRush Hour on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, Jason here for our friends at Livia Weight Control Centers, and you know that Livia has absolutely changed my life. Changed my life. I want you to take that step. Get on board with Livia.com. And I have some big news for you. In fact, Livia Days are here. These are the best offers of the year. So if you buy 2 months of Livia's same-day medical weight loss injections, you're getting the 3rd month free. And join now to take advantage of the summer nutrition special. We're talking 50% off the whole program. 50% off, my goodness. Livia is the 15-year leader in weight loss. They give you personalized plans, in-body scans, telehealth, in-person support options. It's up to you. Plus, you get access to GLP-1 friendly meals, NAD+, Lipo B12. So many great things. For me, it's the people. Oh, my goodness. That's what makes Livia different. They will hold you accountable. They will cheer for you, and they will get you to your goals. It is your summer. No sacrifices, just results. Let's go. 2 months of the same-day medical weight loss injections. Get the 3rd month free. And summer nutrition special with 50% off the program at Livia.com, Livia.com, or 855-GO-LIVIA.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So the kids' back-to-school lists were extra long.
Extra long sounds extra expensive.
Staples had everything at amazing prices.
Suspiciously amazing if you ask me.
Some items were just 25 cents. Plus, as an Easy Rewards member, I got 30% back in points on my kids' school supplies.
Jumpin' Jellyfish. Your back-to-school budget saved by Staples Easy button. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. In 719. Exclusions apply. Single use per week up to $60 in points. See app for details.
Now there's a new way to take charge of your blood sugar. Introducing New Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula from the makers of the nation's best-selling garlic supplement. New Garlic helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels with clinically supported levels of garlic, plus a custom blend of vitamins and minerals, and it's odor-free. Take charge of your blood sugar with New Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
At Wealth Enhancement, we believe wealth is in the details. Our team of trusted advisors craft personalized solutions to help you achieve your financial goals. Tune in to the Your Money Show on News Talk 830 WCCO every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. or go to wealthenhancement.com to connect with one of our advisors.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
Hi, everybody. It's Brian Green from the Commercial Break Podcast. It's likely you've heard of the show if you're directly related to me or you follow our MySpace page. But I'm not here to talk to those three listeners. I'm here to appeal to people who haven't heard the show. Along with my co-host, Kristen Joy Hoadley, we're taking a deeper look at the topics that are affecting our youth today. Like, who are the people who are dating ghosts? Where did all these pickup artists come from? And why doesn't my preacher have a nicer private jet? We understand that these are the issues you really want to get to the bottom of. The Commercial Break is now available on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcasts.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is Traffic and Weather Together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
It's just a stall, but it's helping to slow things down. 10 westbound past Foley. It's off the left side. Flatbed tows on the scene. That's why you'll find the slowdowns. If you're going to be traveling 35W northbound, not bad. Highway 36 to Highway 10. 694 westbound. Some slowing. University over to Highway 252. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCL.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
All right, I'm looking at live radar, and there are some heavy storms coming into the St. Cloud, Wilmer, Hutchinson area. Looks like it's dying out by the time it gets to Twin Cities, but we shall see. Those showers should end early, low of 68. Tomorrow, 84. Wednesday, 84. Right now, in downtown St. Paul, it is 84.
This is Drive Time with DeRush Hour.
Jason loves talking about news, reviewing restaurants, and exploring Minnesota's food scene. He's a vibrant radio host on WCCO AM.
DeRush Hour on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, I hope you're following us on social media because then you would understand what that audio was a reference to.
That was so creepy.
Incredibly creepy. If you follow me on Instagram, I did repost Greg Swan's Greg Explains the Internet segment with me where he showed Gabbo, a Chat GPT powered plush toy. And that's what was giving sort of the recap of me. Now, I haven't checked in a while. I told you what my kids got me for Father's Day.
Yes.
It is a
refurbished Wikipedia page, right?
Right. So like I wonder, it still exists.
How well do your kids know you?
So Wikipedia, if you Google it, Jason DeRush Wikipedia, it doesn't come up yet. But they have not deleted my account yet. But I do have a Wikipedia. Now, there's no photo. Like, it's not a fancy Wikipedia page. But, like, it's got a lot of references.
I've seen far more sparse Wikipedia pages than this.
Yeah. I mean, this is reading it. So this is what my kids give me for Father's Day. Pretty great, right?
I mean, to take the time and the effort. I mean, obviously it didn't cost them anything, but that's fine. You know, it's the time and the effort.
It's pretty good.
And the acknowledgement of they know who you are and what would tickle your fancy.
According to Wikipedia, I am recognized for my approachable style, versatility across formats, and extensive coverage of Minnesota news and culture.
I think that's spot on.
I also, according to a local chef who commented on my Instagram page this weekend, a tool.
Well,
which I assume he means a useful part of everybody's life that is there to solve a number of different problems.
Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what he meant. Sure, absolutely, no question.
I love when people insult me under their own names, though, because
at least you know.
I am petty enough that I'm going to do a quick search. I'm going to do a quick search, see who you are, and I mean, I'm not going to roast you to your employer. I'm not looking to get you fired.
No, but given the amount of petty insulting on the internet that's done under a pseudonym or under some
I
anonymous
admire
name,
it, really.
put your name on it. All right, I'll give you credit for that, even if you're kind of a jerk.
I mean, am I insufferable? Sure, at times. Am I self-righteous? Am I a know-it-all?
Well, you sort of have to be in this job.
Yeah, of course.
That's kind of part of the bit.
A tool, though?
That seems just kind of weak.
I mean, what do we even mean?
You gotta have a better insult than that.
Maybe we should do that tomorrow on the show. Text in your favorite insults for Jason DeRush. Let's light them up. Let's go. Best insult gets 2 tickets to the
Absolutely
Henry Lake
nothing.
show. Yeah, that's about it. Henry Lake is coming up next. Taylor Rivera has entered the room. The news is about to be delivered to you as well. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How